Hello everyone. This year, LevelUp IAS has decided to put all our prelims economy videos of PMP program on YouTube to be available for everyone. The PDF notes for the same is also available in the Telegram channel given in the description. These videos takes care of all the basics requirement plus PYQ discussions. If the response for these videos are good, we also plan to come up with current affairs, economic survey of India and budget session in a very concise manner for preliminary examination in the coming days on YouTube only. I hope you enjoy this video and level up your chances of getting selected in this year's preliminary examination. Thank you very much.
Good morning everyone. आज इसके बाद ब्रेक के बाद आपको एक और बुकलेट मिलेगा, तो we have to finish this before the break. After the break ना ज़्यादा कुछ नहीं है, एक तो our banking sector PYQs are left and then a few topics जैसे central bank digital currency या फिर green deposits, इन सबसे related recent RBI guidelines etc. had come. We will be talking about those things. एक दो topics हैं, but primarily those are PYQs. जैसे in 2024, there were 5 questions which were asked from where? Which were asked from banking sector. आज आप देखोगे, उसमें से 3-4 are like easily doable. 1 or 2 are very very factual. कि बैंक्स के लिए नॉर्म्स क्या होते हैं, वो सारी चीजें हम दोनों समझेंगे कि कैसे 3 और 4 we could have done. 5th के लिए हम प्रिपेयर नहीं करेंगे because for every topic if we start going in that kind of depth, ROI will be very bad. For every type of bank if we start studying कि यार इसके लिए अंदर नॉर्म्स कितने हैं, कैपिटल कितना है, डायरेक्टर्स कितने होने चाहिए, इज इट पॉसिबल फॉर अस टू स्टडी दैट? नो. तो उसे समझ लेंगे जो पीवाईक्यू में आया है, बट वी विल नॉट ट्राई टू बी लाइक सब आना चाहिए. आई टोल्ड यू आउट ऑफ 15-20 क्वेश्चंस दैट यू गेट, 10-12 क्वेश्चंस विल बी इजीली डूएबल. 3-4 क्वेश्चंस विल बी फ्रॉम बजट, इकोनॉमिक सर्वे ऑफ इंडिया, जनरल करंट अफेयर्स. 3-4 विल बी जो नहीं करने हैं. दैट इज व्हाई नो वन गेट्स 200 आउट ऑफ 200, राइट? तो वो वाले क्वेश्चंस भी है, बट लेट्स फर्स्ट डील विद इट, डील विद आवर एक्सटर्नल सेक्टर वाला सेक्शन. इफेक्टिव एक्सचेंज रेट, हमने एक्सचेंज रेट के बेसिक्स पढ़ लिए थे. नाउ वी हैव टू गो टू द टॉपिक ऑफ इफेक्टिव एक्सचेंज रेट. मैं सुबह सुबह पॉपिंस खा रहा था और खत्म नहीं हो रहा, तो लेट मी किसी और को खाना है? नींद खुल जाती नहीं, मैं पता नहीं, आई वाज पिकिंग अप माय कीज और मेरे टेबल पे पड़ा हुआ था, तो मैंने उठा के खा लिया. वो खत्म ही नहीं हो रहा. सॉरी बेटा. है तो यार. हाँ है तो. क्या बोल रहे हो? मुंह उठा के आ जाते बस. ये लो बेटा, जो बचा है तुम खा लो. ज्यादा नहीं बोल रहे, वो छोटी बहन है ना? तो मेरी छोटी बहन है, परेशान किया अगर पीटने वाला हूं मैं. चलिए, लेट्स कम बैक. तो इफेक्टिव एक्सचेंज रेट इज समथिंग दैट वी हैव टू स्टार्ट विथ. इफेक्टिव एक्सचेंज रेट इज समथिंग दैट वी हैव टू स्टार्ट विथ. देखो, वी स्टार्टेड दिस कि चलवा दो इस यार. चला दिया? ओके. लग रही है ना? कहाँ चलवाया? कौन सा एसी ऑन? अच्छा, मेरा वाला नहीं, बच्चों वाला ऑन करना है भाई, उनको भी तो गर्मी लगेगी. लेट्स कम बैक. देखो, व्हेन वी स्टडीड एक्सचेंज रेट सो फार, इट वाज लाइक $1 is equal to 85 rupees, right? This is something that we studied. We said it a rupee has depreciated when this is direct exchange rate, when we are representing our currency into 1 unit of foreign currency in domestic currency, that is direct quotation method, direct exchange rate. If it increased to $1, is equal to rupees 90. We said rupee has depreciated. Rupee has depreciated. This is what we said. Okay. But let's consider this scenario. This happened, but at the same time, for £1, earlier you needed to pay rupees 100, but now for £1, pound sterling, जो UK वाला currency है, you have to pay, let's say, rupees 90. यहाँ तो rupee has appreciated. We has appreciated. ऐसे ही there are so many different currencies. Just by comparing rupees exchange rate with dollar, we cannot say that appreciation of rupee has taken place or depreciation of rupee has taken place. Why? Because our transaction with US may be only, let's say, 10% of our total transaction. Rest of the transaction may be happening with other countries. And with respect to those countries, our currency may be appreciating or depreciating in different ways. Right? And therefore, measuring exchange rate on the basis of one currency is not giving us the correct picture. We should be measuring exchange rate कि हमारा exchange rate बढ़ रहा है या कम हो रहा है. Rupee is depreciating or appreciating. Using all the major economies with which we are trading, we should be measuring exchange rate with all the major economies with which we are trading, isn't it? Plus, now when we are measuring it like this, we cannot say that we'll give 50% weightage to this and 50% weightage to this. Or let's say when we use 40 different countries ka currency for measuring our exchange rate, we cannot say that everyone will get 2.5% weight, because with every country there is different trade happening. With some countries our trade is much higher, with some countries our trade is much lower. And therefore the weight that should be given when we are measuring effective exchange rate, weight that should be given, that should also represent our trading. जिस कंट्री के साथ हम ज्यादा ट्रेड कर रहे हैं उस कंट्री के साथ एक्सचेंज रेट, हाउ एक्सचेंज रेट इज चेंजिंग based on that rupee is appreciating or depreciating, that point should be getting more weight. For a country with which we are trading but that trading is very less, उस कंट्री के साथ भी एक्सचेंज रेट हमारा अप्रिशिएट या डिप्रिशिएट हो रहा होगा. बट इन कैलकुलेटिंग इफेक्टिव एक्सचेंज रेट, this appreciation or depreciation should be getting lesser weight. Should be getting lesser weight. Are we understanding this? It's something like when we were measuring inflation. So we did not measure it only using a rice, or we did not measure it only using wheat. We measured it using a basket of food items, a basket of items, 400 plus items, and those items had different weight. Though, so when we were measuring inflation, we did not say rice prices have doubled, so inflation has become 100%. No, rice has some weight in our food expenditure, in our total expenditure. Wheat has some weight in our total expenditure. In the same way, we have different currencies. किसी के साथ appreciation may have taken place, किसी के साथ depreciation may have taken place, and with each one of them, exchange requirements are different. जिनके साथ ट्रेड ज्यादा हो रहा है उनके साथ for them exchange requirement is higher. जिनके साथ ट्रेड कम हो रहा है for them exchange requirement is lower. So we should be measuring effective exchange rate, right? We should be measuring effective exchange rate which is considering all these parameters. Did you understand the meaning of effective exchange rate? When we said exchange rate, we measured the exchange rate with one country. डॉलर के साथ हमारा एक्सचेंज रेट कैसे बदल रहा है, रुपी के साथ हमारा एक्सचेंज रेट कैसे बदल रहा है. बट व्हेन वी आर मेजरिंग effective exchange rate, we are calculating the average change that has taken place by giving different weight to different exchange rates. Are we getting it? Are we understanding it? Well, कैसे करेंगे? How will we do it? We'll come to that. But first understand the meaning. पहले feel करना सीखो कि when we are using the term effective exchange rate, what do we actually mean? Are we comfortable here? Okay. मेघा बोल रही हैं मी टू सर. कॉपीज चाहिए बेटा आपको? फोटोज भेज देना आज ग्रुप पे. सॉफ्ट कॉपी मिल पाएगी ना ऑनलाइन बच्चों को? They don't get hard copies. Effective exchange rate is a summary indicator of movement of home currency against a basket of currencies of trading partners. Did we understand this first line? Easy, simple. EER serve as a gauge of assessing the fair value of a currency, the external competitiveness of an economy, and even serve as guidepost for setting monetary and financial condition. It is effective exchange rate which will give us the real scenario of the currency, not the overall, not only one exchange rate. तो अब effective exchange rate भी ना हम दो तरीके से कैलकुलेट करते हैं. One, nominal effective exchange rate. Second, real effective exchange rate. In nominal effective exchange rate, what we do is, in nominal effective exchange rate, जो अभी बस exchange rate है, we only keep that into consideration. In real effective exchange rate, we also take into consideration inflation in the countries. Some country may have higher inflation, some country may have lower inflation. So inflation in those countries are taken into consideration. So nominal effective exchange rate is an index of weighted average bilateral exchange rate of home currency vis-a-vis currency of trading partner with weights derived from the shares in the trade basket of the home currency. Different economies will have different weight in a trade. So nominal effective exchange rate में we are just considering this exchange rate. With individual countries, how much weight is being given to each country? The weight is being given on the basis of how much share do they have in the trade with us. Similarly, when we talk about real effective exchange rate, it is the NEER adjusted. It is nominal effective exchange rate adjusted by real prices and costs. रियल प्राइसेस एंड कॉस्ट आप निकालोगे तो उसमें आपको क्या करना पड़ेगा? इन्फ्लेशन को कंसिडर करना पड़ेगा. करंट एक्सचेंज रेट को आप रियल प्राइसेस से मॉडिफाई करोगे तो typically captured an inflation difference between the home economy and the trading partner. So basically we'll say what is the CPI in that country, what is CPI in this country. These two things also consider to calculate real effective exchange rate. अब you may be like sir पर कैसे कर रहे हैं, like what is happening? Nominal effective exchange rate हम कैसे calculate करते हैं, real effective exchange rate कैसे? You have told us this कि nominal effective exchange rate is what? Nominal effective exchange rate is average appreciation or depreciation of rupee on the basis of what? On the basis of all the currencies. और अलग अलग currencies के exchange rate के साथ हम will be giving weight on the basis of trade. Fine. In real effective exchange rate, you said you also consider inflation. Inflation की वजह से change आ रहा है, you should also be considering that. तो how do we calculate nominal effective exchange rate and real effective exchange rate? पहले we will calculate weight for each of the economies. है ना? हमारा यूरो के साथ कितना ट्रेड है, हमारा डॉलर के साथ कितना ट्रेड है, हमारा बाकी करेंसीज के साथ कितना ट्रेड है. तो वेट तो 2020-21 में आप देखोगे इफ वी ओनली कंसिडर ट्रेड बेस्ड वेट और इफ वी कंसिडर एक्सपोर्ट बेस्ड वेट, तो हमारे ट्रेड का 11% हैपेंस विद यूरो एरिया, 12% happens with China, 7% happens with UAE, 11.6% happens with US. But when we consider export, हमारे export का 14% happens with Euro, 5% happens with China, 10% with UAE, 18% with US. So how will we calculate weight? Did we understand this? We will either go for trade-based weight mechanism or we will go for export-based weight mechanism. तो कितना हमारा ट्रेड उस कंट्री के साथ हो रहा है उतना एक्सचेंज करने की जरूरत पड़ेगी, राइट? बेटा दोनों बताए ना, यहाँ ट्रेड में दोनों हो गया और एक्सपोर्ट में ओनली इंडिया कितना एक्सपोर्ट कर रहा है. So basically, if we have to measure our export competitiveness, we only consider the export aspect. Do we get it? पहले हम weight कैसे calculate करते हैं समझ में आया? तो देखो, to calculate trade weights, geometric mean of India's trade exports plus imports with trading partners during preceding 3 years are computed and then normalized to 100. While these trading partners are considered, you will see यहाँ पे 40 trading partners have been considered. that has been normalized to this thing. Now, how do we calculate NEER, near effective exchange rate? This is the mechanism of calculating NEER. अब now ये आपको थोड़ा complicated सा formula लग रहा है, don't worry about it. Let us simplify it. Suppose we have 40 countries, 40 trading partners that we have chosen, जिनके साथ we have to measure exchange rate. We'll understand which 40 have been chosen. Those countries जिनके साथ हमारा substantial trade है, but also those countries who are very transparent in giving their inflation and whose currencies don't fluctuate a lot. Otherwise क्या होगा, एक currency जो बहुत fluctuate हो रही है, even if we have small trade with it, it has depreciated 1000 times, 10,000 times. अब कई बार ऐसा होता है ना, जिम्बाब्वे के साथ प्रॉब्लम हो रही है, वो if we consider that, our overall exchange rate may become very not, it will not give us the right picture, and that is why we remove those countries also. But now let us come to this कि how do we calculate exchange rate. पहले the meaning of E क्या है? We had in our formula we had a term E. E basically means आप 1 रुपी में कितना SDR खरीद पाते हो. SDR is IMF का एक यूनिट. It is made by bringing in US dollar, pound, euro, yen and now Chinese currency also. आप 1 रुपए में कितना SDR खरीद पा रहे हो? That is E. And E1 is first country का SDR. There is other countries जिसके साथ हम ट्रेड कर रहे हैं, तो उनके एक करेंसी में, 1 यूनिट ऑफ करेंसी में how much SDR are you getting? How much SDR are you getting? So let's say it's something like this. When we say E by EI, 1 रुपए में कितना SDR मिल रहा है? इस वाली करेंसी के 1 यूनिट में कितना SDR मिल रहा है? So let's say it comes to be, if we are able to buy 0.01 SDR and they are able to buy let's say 0.02 SDR. मतलब क्या है, एक 1 SDR is of 100 rupees, so in 1 rupees we will be able to buy 0.01 SDR, and therefore let's say a currency, for their currency in one of their domestic currency they can in 50 of their domestic currency they can get 1 SDR. तो उनके लिए एक्सचेंज रेट क्या होगा, E क्या होगा, E1 क्या होगा, 0.02 in 1 unit of their domestic currency, how much SDR they can get, right? फिर से मुझे समझा रहे थे, देखो हमें कैलकुलेट करना है E and E1, E2, E3, E4, all the trading partners, उनका एक्सचेंज रेट क्या है. तो how are we calculating it? E is हमारे 1 रुपी में कितना SDR हम खरीद पा रहे हैं. E1, E2, E3 is first currency in their 1 unit of currency, how much SDR are we able to buy it by. E2 is in second country's 1 unit of currency, how much SDR we are able to buy. In third country's 1 unit of currency, how much SDR we are able to buy. In fourth country's 1 unit of currency, how much SDR we are able to buy, and so on. अब देखो E by E1, E by E1. If rupee is appreciating, rupee will be able to buy more SDR with respect to this currency when compared to previous scenario. Are we understanding this? If rupee is depreciating, rupee will be able to buy less SDR. So if rupee is appreciating, E by E1 will increase with respect to this currency. If rupee is appreciating with respect to this currency, E by E1 will increase, है ना. अब इसे ना हम इसे रेस टू करते हैं वेट ऑफ 1. E by E1 raised by weight of 1 into E by E2 raised by weight of 2. Every country has been given different weight. We are using 40 countries right now. 40 countries have been given different weight into E by E3 into weight 3. ऐसे आप मल्टीप्लाई करते जाइए, you will come to E by E40 into raised to weight of 40. This is how we calculate nominal effective exchange rate. If this increases, has our currency appreciated? ऊपर क्या है, हम कितना SDR खरीद पा रहे हैं? If this has increased, what does it mean? Our currency is able to buy more SDR with respect to the other currency. If it has come down, our currency has depreciated. Do we understand this? This thing has been written here. I equal to 1 से I equal to n तक जाना है, क्या करना है? E by E1 raised to weight 1 into E by E2 raised to weight 2 into E by E3 raised to weight 3 into ये जो साइन है, it is telling you that. Keep on multiplying and keep on giving them the weight 1, weight 2, weight 3, weight 4 and so on. बात समझ में आई है? तो NEER increasing means our currency is NEER decreasing, our currency is depreciating. क्या समझ में आ रहा है? Are we able to get this? नॉमिनल इफेक्टिव एक्सचेंज रेट कैसे कैलकुलेट करेंगे? हम देखें ना, अभी 2-3 years back there was a PYQ also on this and most of the students were confused because ना उन्होंने फंडामेंटल से नहीं समझा. क्या समझा? उन्होंने समझा बस नीर. इकोनॉमिक सर्वे ऑफ इंडिया यूज्ड टू पुट इट ऑलवेज नीर इतना हो गया है, रीर इतना हो गया है, बट पीपल नेवर वेंट इनटू द फॉर्मूला. उन्होंने बस सुपरफिशियली पढ़ लिया. सुपरफिशियली वो क्वेश्चन सॉल्व नहीं होगा. यू हैव टू एग्जैक्टली अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट्स हैपनिंग. Are we able to understand हम NEER कैसे calculate करेंगे? Okay, we have calculated NEER. We'll go to REER, but before that, let us go back to more details. So we had understood nominal effective exchange rate. We said in real, what do we also consider? We also give some weight to the inflation that is occurring. Okay. RBI is responsible for compilation and dissemination of NEER and REER. पहली चीज प्रीलिम्स में दे में आस्क यू हु कैलकुलेट्स NEER, हु कैलकुलेट्स REER. तो अपन जब इन्फ्लेशन कैलकुलेट कर रहे थे, वी सॉ डिफरेंट बॉडीज कैलकुलेट गिविंग डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ इंडाइसेस. CPI was given by CSO or you can call NSO, right? लेबर जहां पे इन्वॉल्व हो रहा था, दैट वाज गिवन बाय लेबर ब्यूरो. लेबर ब्यूरो मतलब जैसे इंडस्ट्रियल वर्कर, एग्रीकल्चर लेबर, रूरल लेबर, इन सब में लेबर ब्यूरो इज कमिंग इनटू प्ले, है ना? फिर वो वाला था अर्बन नॉन मैनुअल एम्प्लॉइज. यहाँ पे लेबर इन्वॉल्व नहीं है, मैनुअल वर्क इन्वॉल्व नहीं है. हु विल बी पब्लिशिंग दिस? CSO only or NSO for that matter. And then we also had WPI, Office of Economic Advisor, DPIIT, Ministry of Commerce and Industry. Ministry of Commerce and Industry was doing it. भूलना नहीं है. यहाँ पे NEER और REER कौन कैलकुलेट कर रहा है? RBI. They haven't asked this in exam, but याद रखना है कि NEER और REER कौन कैलकुलेट करके दे रहा है? हमें RBI. Now in 2021, in 2022 mains prelims they had asked this question because in 2021 some changes took place in the methodology of calculating NEER. What changed? एक तो base year was moved from 2004-05 to 2015-16. Base year was moved. Second, coverage of NEER and REER basket has been expanded from 36 to 40 currencies. पहले we were using 36 currencies or 36 countries for calculation of NEER or REER. Now we are using 40 currencies. In fact, 8 new additions were there and 4 countries were removed from the list. So 36 में 8 new addition, 44 countries and 4 countries getting removed from the list, leading to total 40 countries. Now, how did we choose these countries? We chose these countries based on, so trading partners with extremely high volatile inflation are excluded as their currency tend to experience rapid nominal declines which undermines the stability of NEER or REER. So a country which has very volatile exchange rate, unko hata do yaar. Because what may happen, India Zimbabwe ka trade may be negligible, but their currency has depreciated so much that it would show us a bright picture कि देखो इंडिया का करेंसी तो appreciate हो रहा है because Zimbabwe's currency has depreciated so much, but it is giving us a wrong picture, and that is any currency which is very volatile, we remove it. Data on inflation and exchange rates of the trading partner should be available on a regular basis. If A country is not giving their data on exchange rate and data on inflation. अगर वो ट्रांसपेरेंटली नहीं दे रहे हैं, we are not including it. So based on this, we have chosen 40 topmost countries in terms of our trade. ट्रेड में हमको, और फिर उनके साथ जो ट्रेड है उसको टोटल वेट हमने 100 दिया, एंड एवरी कंट्री हैज बीन गिवन based on this normalization of 100. Every country has been given. So let's say with these 40 countries, our total trade is of $100 billion. तो with one country our trade is $20 billion. उनको वेट कितना मिल जाएगा? 20%. फिर अदर कंट्री आर वेट इज ओनली $1 million. उनको वेट कितना मिल जाएगा? बहुत कम, बिलियन, मतलब 0.001%, एंड सो ऑन. राइट, इन 40 कंट्रीज के साथ जितना ट्रेड है, वी आर कंसिडरिंग दैट टू बी आवर 100% ट्रेड. एंड देन इस 100% का 10% एक कंट्री के साथ है, 20% एक कंट्री के साथ है, 0.01% एक कंट्री के साथ है. बेस्ड ऑन दैट वेट हैज बीन गिवन टू डिफरेंट कंट्रीज. हाँ, to calculate trade weights, geometric mean of India's trade with trading partners during preceding 3 years are computed and then normalized to 100. तो ये जो weight है, it is not for only 1 year. This weight is decided on the basis of past 3 years. उसका फिर geometric mean calculate करके we have decided it. Give me 1 second, guys. Okay, now let's come to our calculation part. This is how we are calculating NEER. Is everyone able to understand this? E is 1 rupee में how much SDR? SDR, अभी जिनको नहीं पता SDR क्या है, बस ये समझ लो, SDR is a unit which has been created by IMF. 1 SDR कितना होता है? It is decided by उसमें कितने डॉलर्स, कितने यूरो, ऐसे. तो rather than using dollar as a unit of transaction, rupee as a unit of transaction, euro as a unit of transaction, IMF uses SDR. I'm going to teach you SDR in a lot more detail. अभी हम इंटरनेशनल बॉडीज वाले सेक्शन पे आएंगे, है ना? अभी like what is the order that we are following in our classes for PMP? We are following economy, then science, then environment. उसके बाद international bodies and mapping. Every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday आपको मेरी शक्ल देखनी है. Over the next 1.5 months, कुछ बच्चों के लिए 2 months, कुछ और बच्चों के लिए. For GS फाउंडेशन स्टूडेंट्स वो टारगेट प्री कर रहे हैं, तो उसमें वी आर डूइंग साइंस टेक फर्स्ट, फिर एनवायरनमेंट, फिर इकोनॉमी पे आएंगे, एंड फिर विल कम टू इंटरनेशनल बॉडीज एंड मैपिंग. राइट, तो वहां पे भी उनका इंटरनेशनल बॉडीज में I'll teach IMF in a lot of detail. I teach IMF like anything. वो 1 घंटे पढ़ाते रहते हैं, उसमें SDR भी आएगा, we'll understand it. अभी ऐसे समझ लो, SDR is a unit of currency, सिंप्लीफाई करने के लिए, for those of you who don't understand it. तो 1 रुपए में कितना SDR, 1 डॉलर में कितना SDR, रेज टू देयर वेट. 1 रुपए में कितना SDR, 1 पाउंड में कितना SDR, रेज टू वेट with हमारा ट्रेड इन पाउंड्स, मतलब हमारा ट्रेड विद दैट कंट्री, एंड सो ऑन. दिस इज हाउ वी कैलकुलेट व्हाट? नॉमिनल इफेक्टिव एक्सचेंज रेट. यहां पे सेम चीज, व्हेन वी हैव टू कैलकुलेट रियल इफेक्टिव एक्सचेंज रेट, तो E by E1 था ना, उसके साथ मल्टीप्लाइड बाय P by P1, where P is the inflation in India and P1 is inflation in first country. ऐसे ही E by E2 into P by P2, E by E3, P by P3, and everything raised to the weight of that country. Do you understand this? How will we be calculating real effective exchange rate and how will we be calculating nominal effective exchange rate? Do we have clarity here? Pakka, everyone is comfortable? Real effective exchange rate, E by E1 raised to weight 1 into E by E2 raised to weight 2 into E by E3 raised to weight. ध्यान रखो, अभी जब आप क्या करने आओगे, अभी जब आप PYQ करने आओगे, वहां पे ध्यान से बस ये सोचना, what is it? What is it? And you will see PYQs, it will be such an easy question. And when you do not understand the fundamentals, आप चीजों को complicate करते रहते हो. Okay. यहाँ पे we have said E represent the exchange rate of rupee against IMF's SDR. A rise in E or EI represent the appreciation of rupee relative to currency I and vice versa. P and PI represent price indices of the home economy and the trading partner I respectively. WI denotes the trade export based weight assigned to the foreign currency. Okay. So nominal effective exchange rate and real effective exchange rate, we have clarity on how do we calculate it, and we also understand why it's important. Why it's important to calculate effective exchange rate rather than just calculating exchange rate with one country. Do you understand this? हमें क्यों effective exchange rate calculate करना है? Do we have clarity there? Okay. Now, let's come to general topics of exchange rate and all. कि why do depreciation take place? Why do depreciation take place? अच्छा फिर से एक बार मन में सोच लो, what is NEER, what is REER? Because when it comes to question, गलती नहीं करनी सब. Everyone should, each one of you should feel like, अरे, it is such an easy question. Everyone should have that feeling. Yes, beta. Currency will become more competitive. Currency का competitive होना क्या होता है? नहीं, sorry. If NEER increases, तो हमारा तो appreciation हो गया ना. Currency will become less competitive. Yes, currency will become less competitive. Same thing. Impact is same. It has just taken into what consideration? Inflation also in consideration. Okay, let's come to this. Why does depreciation take place? किसी भी currency का depreciation क्यों होता है? देखो, core reason is demand supply with respect to a currency. Core reason of depreciation is what? Demand supply with respect to a country. तो with respect to foreign currency. तो अगर depreciation की बात कर रहे हैं, when we talk about depreciation, कि currency is depreciating, it means what? रुपी का सप्लाई ज्यादा होना चाहिए, foreign currency का सप्लाई कम होना चाहिए. With respect to dollar, rupee is depreciating. It means rupee supply is higher and dollar का supply is lesser, और rupees demand is lesser, dollar का demand is higher. सिंपल ये रूल रहता है. वो कैसे हो सकता है? तो why do depreciation take place? Depreciation may take place if current account deficit is more. Deficit, current account deficit का मतलब क्या था? We are giving out more money than the money that we are receiving. Current account deficit में क्या था? Current account deficit में we had trade balance and we had invisibles. And current account deficit कब हो रहा है? When we have more imports, that is we are giving more money out. Invisibles वाला aspect भी है. तो if more money is coming within the country, we are current account surplus. If more money is going out of the country, we are current account deficit. ये तो समझ में आया? अब when more money goes out of the country, तो money will first get converted into dollar and it will go out of the country. डॉलर का सप्लाई कम हो रहा है, रुपये का सप्लाई बढ़ रहा है. When rupee ka supply is increasing, dollar ka supply is decreasing. What happens? Depreciation takes place. Okay. Monetary and interest rate hike by US Fed. अगर US Fed या कोई भी दूसरी फॉरेन कंट्री अपना इंटरेस्ट रेट बढ़ाती है, कोई भी कंट्री अपना इंटरेस्ट रेट बढ़ाती है, सोचो ध्यान से. इफ US increases interest rate, पहले their bank was giving 2% interest rate, now their bank was giving 3% interest rate. What happens to exchange rate in India? Think of this individual who had invested in India rather than keeping money in FD. Now, as interest rate goes up here, will he keep money in FD here? थोड़ा probability बढ़ जाएगा ना. तो money supply to India reduces, FDI, FII में reduce, तो dollar coming to India reduces. It may also happen that he may start withdrawing dollar जो पुराना वाला आया है. Are we getting it? तो when dollar का supply is reducing or dollar is getting withdrawn, dollar का supply in our economy reduces. What would happen to dollar? Dollar will appreciate. What will happen to rupee? Rupee will depreciate. यही उल्टा हो जाता. If US is reducing its interest rate, वो 3% से कर देते 2%. तो a investor is like, यार बैंक में I'm only getting 2% FD. Let me find a developing country which can give me good return. They would have brought their investment here. They would have brought dollars here. डॉलर का सप्लाई would have increased. रुपी का डॉलर का सप्लाई इंक्रीज हुआ तो डॉलर का वैल्यू कम होगा, डॉलर में डिप्रिशिएट और रुपी में एप्रिशिएट. तो इफ द इंटरेस्ट रेट देयर डिक्रीजेस, dollar supply in India increases. If interest rate there is higher, dollar supply reduces. And accordingly, you can decide whether appreciation or depreciation will take place. Isn't it? Is it simple? क्या बातें समझ में आ रही है? तो देखो, हम जब PYQs करेंगे, ये सारी चीजें एग्जाम में पूछी जाती है. But rather than cramming these things, understand the rationale behind it, logic behind it. सब आप पूरे नोट्स क्रैम करके नहीं रख पाओगे. मैंने बस आपको एक E by E1, E by E2 वो याद रखने को बोला है, बाकी यहाँ पे कुछ याद रखने की जरूरत नहीं है. You should, even without cramming things, you should be able to do it comfortably. Okay, then why else will rupee depreciate? Other traditional factors affecting India's exchange rate. Generally हमारा करेंसी डिप्रिशिएट होता रहा है. मैंने आपको कल एग्जांपल भी दिया था, है ना. Even before that, आप if you go to the year 2010-11, exchange rate was around 45 rupees. $1 was around 45 rupees. 2014 तक it came to 60 rupees. 2024 में 25 में it's going to touch 90 rupees. ना 87-88 पे जा चुके हैं. तो हमारा करेंसी इन जनरल डिप्रिशिएट हो रहा है. What are the reasons? तो एक तो देखो, India is an emerging market and inflation rate here would be higher. Inflation जिस इकोनॉमी का हायर है, the currency there depreciates. जिस कंट्री का इन्फ्लेशन ज्यादा है, क्या करेंसी वहां पे डिप्रिशिएट होती है? पक्का. तो एक तो एक ट्रेडिशनल रीजन है why our currency keeps on depreciating. Then there are other factors too. Mounting external debt and tightening of global liquidity. ये जनरल चीजें. The mounting external debt, if our external debt is very high, will we have to pay a lot of money in interest? So when the money debt is coming in, it is bringing in dollars, but eventually it is increasing. So we have to pay a lot of interest, and we also have to return the money in future. So let's say this is the year where we are returning the money. Will it create pressure on our currency? Tightening of global liquidity. What is tightening of global liquidity? Money supply कम होना, मतलब interest rate बढ़ना. US में interest rate बढ़ा, people prefer to keep their money there. Same is the situation with any other country. If interest rate increases, if money policy gets tightened, what happens? Money supply reduces. अगर globally money supply reduces, money coming to India will reduce, right? अब बताओ, इंडिया में अगर monetary policy tightening होगी, what will be its impact on our currency? Will our currency appreciate or depreciate? इंडिया में monetary policy tightening होगी तो will our currency appreciate? Sure. Why? Supply of rupee will be less. ये सिंपल फंड है, देखो यही याद रखना है. इसीलिए इकोनॉमी इज द इजीएस्ट ऑफ द सब्जेक्ट्स. रादर देन रिमेंबरिंग फैक्ट्स, फिगर्स, आप लॉजिक लगा लोगे यार, सब कुछ डिमांड सप्लाई. एवरीथिंग इज डिमांड सप्लाई. मोस्ट ऑफ द क्वेश्चंस कैन बी सॉल्व्ड बाय दिस आर्गुमेंट. चाहे मनी आप कुछ फैक्चुअल चीजें पूछते हैं, बट आई ऑलवेज कीप ऑन सेइंग फैक्चुअल थिंग्स आर नॉट गोइंग टू डिटरमाइन योर सिलेक्शन. The selection will be determined by fundamental concepts. मुझे बच्चे आके बोलते हैं कि सर आप करंट अफेयर्स पढ़ाओगे, करंट अफेयर्स से कितने सवाल आएंगे, ये वो. तो बोलता हूँ यार, करंट अफेयर्स नहीं पढ़ा रहा मैं. पहली चीज, करंट अफेयर्स इज जस्ट अ फिलर. जैसे मैं करंट अफेयर्स का टीचर हूँ, करंट अफेयर्स ऑलवेज हैव टू बी जस्ट फिलर्स इन योर प्रिपरेशन. मैं करंट अफेयर्स, मैंने जब भी करंट अफेयर्स पढ़ाया, आई हैव इंश्योर्ड कि मैं साइंस पूरा फंडामेंटल से पढ़ाऊंगा. बस करंट में ये पीएसएलवी लॉन्च हो गया, उससे कुछ फायदा नहीं होना है, उससे आपको एग्जाम में कुछ नहीं मिलना है. In 2018 there were 3-4 questions from space. They asked about IRNSS, they asked about PSLV, they asked about GSLV, but they did not ask about a particular launch. They asked about the fundamentals of PSLV, GSLV, cryogenic engine, IRNSS. उस साल IRNSS का नाम बदल के ये कर दिया, ये पे सवाल नहीं आया. ओवरऑल टॉपिक. And that is why हमेशा ना फंडामेंटल्स पे फोकस करो. एक करंट अफेयर्स टीचर इज टेलिंग यू दिस, उससे यू कैन अंडरस्टैंड कि हाउ इंपॉर्टेंट द फंडामेंटल्स आर. करंट अफेयर्स जितना रिलेवेंट है हम कराएंगे, जितना जरूरी है कराएंगे, बट योर सिलेक्शन विल बी डिटरमाइंड बाय योर बेसिक्स का प्रिपरेशन. इन द वेरी फर्स्ट ईयर 2016-17 में what I did was I was teaching current affairs and then my students were doing very well in current affairs. मैं उनका हर संडे टेस्ट लेता था, जैसे अभी करंट अफेयर्स वाले बच्चों का हर संडे टेस्ट होता है, मैं उनका भी हर संडे टेस्ट लेता था. और फिर मैंने क्या रियलाइज किया, एट द एंड ऑफ द ईयर दे वर वेरी गुड एट करंट अफेयर्स, बट उनका स्टैटिक पोर्शन बहुत ही खराब था, क्योंकि वो हर संडे करंट अफेयर्स का टेस्ट दे रहे थे. तो इन द वेरी फर्स्ट ईयर ऑफ टीचिंग आई रियलाइज दिस इज नॉट द राइट स्ट्रेटजी. फिर मैंने क्या शुरू किया 2017-18 से, 16-17 में ये हुआ, 17-18 से आई स्टार्टेड टेकिंग टेस्ट व्हिच विल इंक्लूड बोथ स्टैटिक एंड करंट अफेयर्स, ताकि आपको स्टैटिक का पोर्शन भी इक्वल वेटेज के साथ पढ़ना होगा. इट्स नॉट जस्ट करंट अफेयर्स, बिकॉज आई रियलाइज कि बस करंट अफेयर्स पढ़ते रहेंगे तो कुछ होगा नहीं. एंड देन आई स्लोली स्टार्टेड इंश्योरिंग दैट मैं करंट अफेयर्स कैसे पढ़ा रहा हूं, मैं करंट अफेयर्स पढ़ा रहा हूं बाय फर्स्ट कवरिंग द स्टैटिक टॉपिक ऑफ इट, एंड देन एक दो लाइन का करंट अफेयर्स होता है, ज्यादा नहीं. Always focus on what? Always focus on statics. Always focus on basics if you want to get selected. Not on ये पढ़ लो, वो पढ़ लो, ये मैगजीन आ गई, वो मैगजीन आ गई. No. Always focus on basics. हम जितने बच्चे अभी टारगेट प्रीलिम्स में करंट अफेयर्स करना शुरू किए हैं, वो दे वुड नो कि आई हैव एम्फसाइज्ड मोस्टली ऑन बेसिक्स, एंड देन आखिरी में ये लॉन्च हुआ है, ये नया सैटेलाइट गया है. दैट्स ओनली वन लाइन और टू लाइन. ओके, तो यहां पे भी वही ध्यान रखना है, focus on the basic areas, not on the factual recent things. हम पढ़ लेंगे, इकोनॉमिक सर्वे ऑफ इंडिया बजट में जो चीजें हैं वो सब कर लेंगे. that will be our preparation. Do you get this? Okay. तो how depreciation takes place? अब मैं बोलूं अप्रिशिएट करना है करेंसी को, appreciation of currency. तो if we have to appreciate rupee, तो रुपी का सप्लाई कम होना होगा, डॉलर का सप्लाई बढ़ना पड़ेगा. तो when RBI is selling dollars, is it increasing the availability of dollar? Can it contribute to appreciation? Can it contribute to appreciation? Yes. If RBI is tightening its monetary policy, will it contribute to appreciation? If globally money supply is lesser, will it contribute to appreciation? मारूंगा पकड़ के. ग्लोबली मनी, इसे मैं देख रहा था, यस 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 बोलते जा रहे हो, सुन नहीं रहे हो? हाँ, ग्लोबली मनी सप्लाई कम है तो ग्लोबली टाइट मॉनेटरी पॉलिसी है ना, तो फॉरेन करेंसी का अवेलेबिलिटी विल बी लेसर. So how will it contribute to appreciation of rupee? It will contribute to depreciation of rupee. सब में yes sir, yes sir, yes sir. नलायक लोग सुनो, देखो किससे रुपये का सप्लाई बढ़ रहा है, किससे फॉरेन करेंसी का सप्लाई बढ़ रहा है. Are we understanding this? पक्का? अच्छा, मौसम थोड़ा गरम गरम सा हो गया ना, ऐसे सुबह 7 बजे से कर दे क्लास. मजे ले रहा हूँ भाई, 8 बजे तो आ नहीं पा रहा हूं मैं. चलिए, मैं खुद 7:15 पहुंच रहा हूँ. जिस दिन मैं ऐसे 8 बजे लगातार आने लगूंगा फिर ऐसे बात करेंगे. ओके, वेरी कंफर्टेबल हियर. अब if rupee depreciates, what are its negative impacts? रूपी डिप्रिशिएशन के नेगेटिव इंपैक्ट, रूपी डिप्रिशिएशन के पॉजिटिव इंपैक्ट, वो सारी चीजें पढ़ लेते हैं, समझ लेते हैं. देखो, if rupee depreciates, we are saying it may lead to decline in our forex reserve. Depreciation of rupee may lead to decline in our forex reserve. How would that happen? RBI will sell dollars to fight that depreciation. Abhi recently, yesterday we saw our forex reserve had reduced. It was peaking in September 2024. It has come down in recent years. What was the main reason? RBI is selling dollars, increasing the supply of dollars in the market. क्यों? To fight depreciation of rupee. To fight depreciation of rupee. Did we understand how forex reserve would decline? This is not the only reason. This is not the only reason by which forex reserve will decline. There are other reasons too. देखो, India, when it comes to imports and exports, India is a net importing country. Current account तो हमारा नेगेटिव ही होता है. Current account नेगेटिव, अगर we import more than export, if our, let's say ऐसे समझो, our export is worth $80. Our import is worth $100. Right? अब रुपी हो गया क्या? Depreciate. रुपी हो गया depreciate. For $100 earlier we were paying 8,000 rupees. Now we'll have to pay 9,000 rupees. Will we have to pay 9,000 rupees? Isn't it? Or नहीं है ना? We'll have to pay 9,000 rupees. Or buying dollars will become more expensive for us. Buying dollars will become more expensive for us. तो we are understanding forex reserve कैसे कम होगा हमारा? Okay. Then it negatively impacts current account deficit. अब you'll say कि सर current account deficit से हमारा depreciation हो रहा था. How is depreciation leading to current account deficit? अभी समझा हमने. अगर पहले current account like import bill was 8,000 rupees. Now import bill became 9,000 rupees. Has it negatively impacted current account deficit? Export bill was $80, पर $80 में हमें कम रुपए मिल रहे हैं. Our current account deficit worsens. Okay. Pulling out foreign portfolio investments. Up, we said when FPIs take out money, that leads to depreciation. But depreciation also leads to FPIs taking out money. How will depreciation lead to FPIs taking out their money? Think of this person, Mr. A. He has invested in Reliance. He is invested in Reliance. ये Mr. A is from USA. He has invested in Reliance. Let's say he has invested 2 lakh rupees. He has invested 2 lakh rupees in Reliance. And when he had invested, $1 was equal to 80 rupees. $1 was equal to how much? 80 rupees. So basically, he had invested $2,500. Then $1 is equal to 80 rupees. So he had invested $2,500. ये समझ में आ रहा है सबको? He expects कि यार क्या होगा? यार I'll get 10% return every year. Reliance is a company जिसके prices 10% बढ़ते जाएंगे हर साल. तो next year he expects this to become 2,20,000. 10% growth. He expects this to become 2,20,000. But let's say exchange rate जो $1 is equal to 80 rupees था becomes $1 is equal to 100 rupees. So when this 2,20,000 rupees, which this का Reliance Industries का worth है, if he converts it into dollars, how much will he get? $1 is equal to 100 rupees, so he will get $2,200. He invested how much? 2,500. How much is he getting? 2,200. नुकसान हो गया इसका? So if he has invested in India and Indian currency depreciates, he is in loss. तो investors would also not prefer investing in those countries जहां पे depreciation का scope है. Are we able to understand this? Investors would be like, I'm expecting a return of 10%, but if their currency depreciate 10%, my return becomes 0. I'm expecting a return of 20% if their currency depreciates 10%, तो मेरा return बस 10% ही रह जाएगा. Because eventually I have to sell things in rupee and get it converted into dollars and then get the money out. So when a currency starts depreciating, people are like, don't stay in this economy because our returns will reduce. Through this example, did we understand how returns will reduce? Okay. So pulling out of FPIs. Do we get it? This is one of the reasons why FPIs pull out. FPIs may also pull out because of other factors. जैसे tightening of monetary policy was leading to pulling of global monetary policy tight हो रहा था, उससे भी FPIs were pulling out. And when FPIs pull out, क्या होता है? Rupee और depreciate होता है. Depreciation of rupee will lead to FPIs pulling out. FPIs pulling out will lead to further depreciation of rupee, and the cycle will go on. Yes, you are raising your hands. बिकॉज दे एक्सपेक्ट कि डिप्रिशिएशन से कहीं ज्यादा ग्रोथ रेट होगा. डेवलपिंग कंट्रीज में ग्रोथ रेट इज हायर, तो दे अज्यूम कि यार इंडिया में डिप्रिशिएशन होगा करेंसी का, बट दे एक्सपेक्ट करेंसी डिप्रिशिएशन विल बी लाइक 2% एवरी ईयर, 5% एवरी ईयर, समथिंग लाइक दैट. And economic returns that it will give us 15%. We are anyways making 10%. Whereas if we had kept money in US, their returns may not be very high. But when this depreciation starts happening faster than that, much faster than that, so they had calculated that returns will be 15%, 5% will be lost because of depreciation. But now they say, our returns are 15%, but depreciation is also 15%. वो तो troubling है ना? If $1 was equal to 80 rupees and it becomes $1 is equal to 88 rupees, 10% का depreciation हो गया. Got it? तो pulling out of FPIs may also lead to depreciation. ऐसे ही देखो, पता है इनका उल्टा. Oh, sorry. Pulling out of FPI is something that will happen because of what? Because of depreciation. अब इसका उल्टा हो जाएगा अगर things we expect कि appreciation होगा. We expect कि appreciation होगा रुपये का. अगर ये होता, वैसे appreciation नहीं होगा. We have understood the reason for it. But if we had expected appreciation होगा, जैसे a lot of people just buy dollars. कैसे? I buy today dollar in 80 rupees में $1. I have that. Dollar will appreciate. Dollar will become 90 rupees next year. I'll sell it. Have I earned money? Other than the fact कि उनकी कंपनी में इन्वेस्ट करके जो पैसा मिला मेरे को, तो डॉलर के एक्सचेंज रेट से ही things changed. जैसे when I remember when in 2011-12 when we got our jobs, so Microsoft came to us and said कि you will get $100,000 as your base pay, तो which was around 55 lakh rupees. And कुछ और पे लगा के उन्होंने बोला आपकी जॉब 70 लाख रुपीस की है, बिकॉज एक्सचेंज रेट वाज अराउंड 50. जिन लोगों को यूएस लेके जा रहे थे, जो लोग यूएस जाना चाहते थे, तो दे केम टू अस एंड दे गिव अस बोथ द ऑप्शन. फॉर दोज ऑफ यू हु वांट टू स्टे इन इंडिया, दे कैन वर्क इन इंडिया, बैंगलोर और हैदराबाद. फॉर दोज ऑफ यू हु वांट टू गो अब्रॉड, यू कैन गो अब्रॉड. इंडिया में आपका ये पे है, यूएस में ये पे है. तो $100,000 was around 50-55 lakh rupees. तो नेट पे जो $130,000 दे रहे थे, that was around 65 lakh rupees, 70 lakh rupees. तो न्यूज में ये आता था कि रुड़की से इतने बच्चों की 70 लाख की जॉब लगी. Now same $130,000 is 1.2 crore rupees, 1.3 crore rupees, because अब वो 90 रुपीस के आसपास है. तो नाउ न्यूज में क्या आता है? 1.2 करोड़ की जॉब लगी, 1.3 करोड़. Whereas in dollar terms it is same. जब मैं आई रिमेंबर व्हेन आई वाज प्रिपेयरिंग फॉर आईआईटी जेईई, जैसे न्यूज पढ़ता था कि इनकी 45 लाख रुपीस की जॉब लगी है, बट इन डॉलर टर्म्स इट वाज $100,000. तो इन डॉलर टर्म्स आपकी सैलरी नहीं बढ़ी है, बट रुपी के एक्सचेंज रेट के पर्सपेक्टिव से इट लुक्स मच हायर. जैसे यूएस में पढ़ने का कॉस्ट में नॉट हैव इंक्रीज्ड, द फी मे बी, एक साल का फी स्टिल $100,000, but it used to be 40-45 lakh rupees. Now it's coming out to be 85 lakh rupees, 90 lakh rupees. Are we understanding this? अब जैसे some of my friends had gone for this thing, MS, बीटेक के बाद MS करने चले गए. अब उनको टीए मिलता था या आरए मिलता था, टीए टीचिंग असिस्टेंट. वो MS कर रहे हैं, साथ में एक प्रोफेसर के साथ टीए का काम भी कर रहे हैं. उनको उससे €2,000 या $2,000 बेस्ड ऑन वेयर देवर इन यूरोप. और वो तो $2,000 उस टाइम वाज 1,20,000 रुपीस. $2,000 टुडे इज 1,80,000 रुपीस, राइट? तो उन करेंसीज में एप्रिसिएशन होता है. नाउ कम बैक टू दिस. पुलिंग आउट ऑफ एफपीआई में अकर बिकॉज ऑफ डेप्रिसिएशन. वी अंडरस्टैंड द रीजन फॉर इट. कनेक्ट करो rather than cramming. Understand, if rupee depreciates, why will FPI pull? Then inflation. अगर रुपी डिप्रिशिएट होता है, इंडिया में इन्फ्लेशन बढ़ेगा. क्यों? क्योंकि इंडिया इंपोर्ट्स अ लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स. इंपोर्टेड इन्फ्लेशन. अपन पेट्रोलियम प्रोडक्ट ऑलमोस्ट 80% इंपोर्ट कर रहे हैं. एनर्जी सोर्सेस 10 आर इंपोर्टेड. अब वी वर पेइंग देम $1, but now also we are paying them $1, but $1 was 80 rupees. Now we are paying them 90 rupees. तो will things become expensive for India? Yes. It negatively impacts businesses taking loans from abroad. If I've taken loan from abroad, let's say I've taken $1 ka loan from abroad. Earlier, for returning this loan, I will pay what? 80 rupees. Now I have to pay 90 rupees. Interest dena hota. Let's say interest is 10%. So $0.1. Earlier I had to pay 8 rupees. And now I'll pay 9 rupees. So does it impact negatively people who have taken loan from abroad? Depreciation, will it do that? Okay. Difficulty in financing external debt. Same thing. बाहर से लोन ले रहे हो उसको फाइनेंस करना will be more expensive. Increasing of RBI's monetary policy rate can depreciation lead to increase in RBI's monetary policy rate? Yes. Depreciation हो रहा है रुपी का, सप्लाई ज्यादा है, that's why depreciation हो रहा है. RBI will try to tighten its monetary policy. Challenges for students studying or wanting to study abroad. You understand the reason? पहले 45 लाख में एक साल की क्या हो जाती थी, फीस हो जाती थी, अब वो 85 लाख में हो रही है जब डेप्रिसिएशन 45 से 85 हो गया. डू यू अंडरस्टैंड दिस? Positives of declining rupees. कई बार depreciation can be beneficial also. Yes बेटा. हाँ नहीं देखो ऐसा नहीं है. In a country where export ज्यादा है उनके लिए this is applicable. But India ज्यादा क्या करता है, import या export? Import ज्यादा कर रहा है ना. तो we are, जैसे ऐसे समझो कि exporting goods worth $100, importing goods worth $80. तुम्हें बोलना नहीं है, तुम पे बोलने का रेस्ट्रिक्शन लगाया, तुमने फोन से बुलवा दिया है ना. मैं सबसे पहले मैं आके क्या करता हूँ यहाँ पे, आई टेक आउट माई फोन एंड साइलेंट पे करते हैं ना. उस टाइम देखना था ना, सर साइलेंट पे कर रहे हैं, हमें भी कर लेना चाहिए. नहीं. चलिए हाँ, अब लेट्स से वी एक्सपोर्ट थिंग्स वर्थ $80, वी इंपोर्ट थिंग्स वर्थ $100 है ना. अब हम इंपोर्ट $100 का कर रहे हैं और वो महंगा हो गया, तो व्हेन इट वाज 80 रुपीज. ये कंफ्यूजन ना सबको होता है, थोड़ा सा समझ लेते हैं. लेट्स से आर एक्सपोर्ट is worth $80. Our import is worth $. Let's say scenario है ना. This is the scenario in India right now. Do we have deficit? Do we have current trade deficit? Yes. Now when dollar and here situation is 1 rupee is equal to $1 is equal to rupees 80. Right? This is the scenario right now. Let's say from here we go to $1 is equal to 100 rupees. Let's say we come here. Now what happens? Our export, which was of $80, our export which was of $80, तो export हमारा $80 का नहीं था, पहले export was basically of 6400 rupees. Export was of 6400 rupees. हमने जो चीज बनाई वो 6400 rupees की बनी थी, उसके लिए we got $80. Now when we export the same thing of 6400 rupees, we'll not get $80, we'll only get how much? $64. Will we get only $64? We will get $64. So now but export is cheaper. Our export is cheaper, तो export का demand बढ़ सकता है ना. तो demand भी बढ़ गया. Let's say it led to 10% increase in demand also. But तब भी हमें क्या हो रहा है? We are going to, let's say, $70 और थोड़ा और बढ़ गया, we're going to $80. But in terms of amount that we are getting, money that we are getting, ज्यादा नहीं बढ़ पाया, because our exports are generally on the lower side. But now let's come to import. Our import earlier was of $100. That is, how much were we paying? 8,000 rupees. Now our ये import है. Now our import is उतना ही $100 का, but now we are paying 10,000 rupees. Do we get this? अब इससे our import may reduce a bit. When import become expensive, it may reduce a bit. But फिर भी in terms of dollars, it's going to remain higher because we are more import dependent. We are importing more, right? So write an example and you will get your answer. So in general, yes, when rupee depreciates, exportability हमारी बढ़ जाती है, but इतनी भी नहीं बढ़ गई है कि वो import से ज्यादा हो जा रही है. And that is why China tries to keep its rupee depreciate, its currency devalued. China tries to keep its currency devalued so that its export is always cheaper, because it has more exports and it wants to keep on increasing that export. Okay. तो पॉजिटिव ऑफ डिक्लाइनिंग रूपी, अगर रूपी डिक्लाइन हो रहा है इनको पॉजिटिव होता है, तो द कंपनीज विच आर मोर एक्सपोर्टिंग इन नेचर, आईटी, फार्मा, हॉस्पिटैलिटी एक्सेट्रा, इनको अब $80 से मिल रहा है, बट $80 विल बी मच हायर अमाउंट इन रूपी, और दे कैन सेल इट चीपर ऑल्सो, बिकॉज फॉर मी द कॉस्ट ऑफ मेकिंग अ प्रोडक्ट इज 100 रुपीज. अब 100 रुपीज में अर्लियर आई वाज एबल टू गेट $1.25. I was able to sell it in $1.25. Now 100 rupees में I'm able to sell it in $1 only. मेरे को तो 100 rupees मिल गए, but I'm able to sell it in $1 only. Right? So I'm able to sell it cheaper. I'll be able to get more money. Now, tourism and hospitality sector में get a boost. कैसे tourism? पहले a person who came to India, he came with $1 and got 50 rupees. Now when he comes to India, he comes with $1 and gets 80 rupees, and he's able to spend more. Remittances tend to increase during the depreciating phase. How remittances tend to increase? A friend is sending me $10,000. That $10,000 was 5 lakh rupees, but now that $10,000 is 8 lakh rupees. जब $1 was equal to 50 rupees, now $1 is equal to 80 rupees. Okay, तो sectoral impact की बात करेंगे तो export based industry would benefit, but oil marketing companies will suffer. ऑयल मार्केटिंग कंपनीज आर इंपोर्टिंग, मोर इंपोर्टिंग. ऐसे ही ऑटो सेक्टर, जिन कंपनीज का हाई एक्सपोर्ट शेयर होगा दे विल बी बेनिफिटिंग, जिन कंपनी का एक्सपोर्ट शेयर ज्यादा नहीं है दे विल नॉट बी अफेक्टेड और विल बी नेगेटिवली अफेक्टेड. एविएशन सेक्टर विल बी हिट. व्हाई एविएशन सेक्टर विल बी हिट? बिकॉज एविएशन सेक्टर फ्यूल, उनका मोस्ट ऑफ द कॉस्ट क्या होता है? एविएशन टरबाइन फ्यूल. एंड इफ एविएशन टरबाइन फ्यूल बिकम्स एक्सपेंसिव, दे आर इन ट्रबल, राइट? तो गवर्नमेंट बहुत सारे मेजर्स लेती है टू फाइट depreciation, जैसे ट्रेड डेफिसिट से लड़ना या steps to attract investment. We'll talk about all these things in the coming. तो FDI, FPI सब पढ़ेंगे, उसमें हमें clarity मिलेगा what measures government is taking. But I hope this exchange rate, appreciation, depreciation, its impact. Now I have not gone through each and every impact, but impact आप हमेशा खुद से सोच लेना. How will a sector get impacted? How, so demand supply, when will appreciation take place, when will depreciation take place, all that thing can be easily understood through the concept of demand and supply. Okay, let's now come to the next topic of internationalization of rupee. Now there are some doubts. Sir, when US Fed hikes interest rate, it means that their people will be more likely to save. Yes. Can you show the POV from an Indian? हाँ, POV from an Indian, ये देखो ना, हम when they have hiked interest rate, उनके बैंक का सोचो. Earlier their bank was giving them 4% interest rate, now it is giving 6% interest rate. अब सोचो वो person who was planning to invest in India will be like, मेरे पास अब when compared to earlier he has better investment का mechanism in his own country, and that's safer also. तो why go to a country जहाँ पे depreciation may create a problem, there is currency risk, है ना? Let me keep money there only. It doesn't mean that investment will not come to India. Some people will still be like, 6% interest rate is not good enough for me of US. I will get 20% returns from India. That may happen. Impact of Fed tapering on Indian economy. bond yield of in India increases, rupee depreciate, higher current account deficit. ये पूछ रहे हो बता रहे हो, मुझे समझ में नहीं आया। अब देखिए फेड टेपरिंग क्या है। फेड टेपरिंग क्या है? जब हमने फेड टेपरिंग पढ़ा था, अपन ने फेड टेपरिंग पढ़ा है? हाँ पढ़ा है आपके, या नहीं पढ़ा तो आपके नोट्स में है, पढ़ा है? फेड टेपरिंग वाज व्हाट? They increasing their interest rate during recession. Their interest rate was very low. They increasing their interest rate slowly. That was Fed tapering. When they increase their interest rate, money supply in India reduces. यूएस से जो पैसा आ रहा था रिड्यूस हो रहा था. When money supply in India reduces, पैसा कम है, तो will bond yield increase? Bond yield. When पैसा कम है तो गवर्नमेंट को पैसे देने के लिए नहीं है, तो गवर्नमेंट will keep interest rate higher. If money supply was higher, bond yield would have been lesser. Right? और he is saying कि bond prices will fall. और हाँ bond prices will fall. Why would bond prices? Bond yield अलग चीज है, bond price अलग चीज है. Why will bond prices fall? Bond prices will fall because less people are there to buy it. है ना? समझ में आ रहा है? If there was more money, more people would have been there to buy it. If there is less money, less people are there to buy it. Okay. चलिए ये डाउट्स हो गए. सर हाउ चाइना डू रिवैल्यूएशन डिवैल्यूएशन ऑफ करेंसी? बेटा करेंसी का एक्सचेंज रेट क्या सेंट्रल बैंक डिसाइड कर रहा है? वो बोल देते हैं इतना ही दे रहे हैं, दैट बिकम्स रिवैल्यूएशन डिवैल्यूएशन. सर व्हाई डू वी ओनली कंसिडर इंक्रीजिंग करंट अकाउंट डेफिसिट एंड नॉट ओवरऑल नेगेटिव बैलेंस ऑफ पेमेंट फॉर कंसिडरिंग, कहां गया, नॉट ओवरऑल बैलेंस ऑफ पेमेंट फॉर कंसिडरिंग डेप्रिसिएशन. हाँ वेरी गुड क्वेश्चन कि सर हम बस करंट अकाउंट डेफिसिट क्यों कंसिडर कर रहे हैं? एप्रिसिएशन डेप्रिसिएशन तो ओवरऑल बैलेंस ऑफ पेमेंट से डिसाइड होगा ना. Overall balance of payment is positive, so more money is coming within the country. Overall balance of payment is negative, so more money is going out of the country. Yes, you are right. But अगर आपसे पूछा गए current account deficit increase हो रहा है तो it will contribute to what? Decrease हो रहा है तो it will contribute to what? तो what will you answer? Current account deficit के perspective से you'll assume everything else is constant. And तब क्या होगा? तो अगर current account deficit बढ़ जाएगा तो rupee will depreciate. Current account deficit कम हो जाएगा तो rupee will appreciate, considering everything else to be constant. Right? Okay बेटा, let me know. किसने पूछा था? मेधा ने पूछा था. मेधा बेटा, if you have understood this, please let me know. Okay, let's now come to internationalization of rupee. The topic of internationalization of rupee. ये अटेंडेंस में देख रहा हूँ कम हो गई, इकोनॉमी के आखिरी तक क्लास में आते हुए कम हो गई है. नहीं जीएस वाले बच्चे तो एकदम सुबह 8 बजे उठना ही नहीं है इनको. नहीं अरे सुबह 8 बजे उठो, मतलब जो मैं बोल रहा हूँ ना कि क्लास 7 बजे कर देते हैं, कर नहीं रहा, डोंट वरी. बट अगर मैं क्लास 7 बजे कर दूंगा ना, क्या होगा, आप लोग और जल्दी उठोगे. हाँ ऐसे आप नहीं उठते, ऐसे आपको छोड़ दिया जाता, आप अपने आप से उठते. ऐसे क्लास 7 बजे होगी तो यार चाहे गाली देके उठोगे, बट उठोगे. एंड व्हेन योर क्लास गेट्स ओवर एट 12, और कई बार ना देखो जब क्लासेस नहीं थी, आप में से कई लोग 11-12 बजे तो उठते थे. खुद सोचना, अभी 11-12 बजे तक, 1 बजे तक आपने आधी दिन में जितनी पढ़ाई कर सकते हो आधी कर ली है, एंड यू हैव एंटायर डे इन फ्रंट ऑफ यू, इजंट इट? तो यू आर फोर्स्ड टू डू दिस. अगर 11-12 बजे उठना अच्छा होता तो स्कूल्स 12 बजे ही चालू होते. स्कूल स्टार्ट एट 8 इन द मॉर्निंग. आप ये जो सालवन स्कूल है इसको देखोगे, सुबह 8 बजे चालू हो जाता है. आप सबके स्कूल्स बचपन में 8 बजे 9 बजे चालू हो जाते थे, isn't it? Let's come to internationalization. Sir, we consider balance of payment also. हाँ बेटा, ओवरऑल डिप्रिसिएशन एप्रिसिएशन में बैलेंस ऑफ पेमेंट ही रोल प्ले करेगा. ये मेरा बैलेंस ऑफ पेमेंट है। अगर ये पॉजिटिव है तो मोर मनी इज कमिंग इन इंडिया, अगर ये डेफिसिट है तो मनी इज गोइंग आउट ऑफ इंडिया। फाइन। पर अब मान लो आपका एफडीआई एफआईआई मैंने बोल दिया कांस्टेंट है, कैपिटल अकाउंट कांस्टेंट है। अब मैं बस ये पूछ रहा हूं कि करंट अकाउंट डेफिसिट बढ़ रहा है, उससे क्या होगा? तो व्हाट विल यू से? करंट अकाउंट डेफिसिट, इफ डेफिसिट इज इंक्रीजिंग, depreciation will take place. If surplus is there, depreciation, if this is constant, तो इस वजह से क्या होगा? What will happen because of increasing current account deficit? तो you will say, I don't know, balance of payment से decide होगा. You will not say this ना? You will say, अच्छा, it is assuming everything else is not changing. Because of current account deficit, what would happen? So because of current account deficit, there will be depreciation. Okay. Internationalization of rupee. Let's come to the topic of internationalization of rupee. देखो अभी हमने we spoke about trade between different countries and all. We said this कि यार with Zimbabwe, with Bangladesh, with different countries, our exchange rate, उनके करेंसी में कितने SDR खरीदे जा रहे हैं, हमारे करेंसी में कितने SDR खरीदे जा रहे हैं. In this way we calculated it. But in reality, when we have to trade with, let's say, a country in Africa, we do not take their currency and they do not take our currency. What happens? Their currency is converted into dollar, our currency is converted into dollar, and trade happens in dollar because dollar is an accepted international currency. We want कि क्या rupee internationalize हो जाए so that trade can happen in rupee only. Other countries can accept rupee only. They can make their payments in rupee only. Right now there are few countries like dollar, euro, pound sterling, yen, which are considered कि ये international trade में use हो रहा है. China is also trying to ensure that their currency renminbi, it becomes internationalized. It is IMF ने उसे अपने बास्केट में इंक्लूड कर लिया है, but otherwise there are still some work to be done. तो rupee is not something that is internationalized yet. तो internationalization is a process that involve increasing the use of rupee in cross-border transactions. Right now we are not able to use it because other countries don't accept it as a currency which can be used, which they want to keep with themselves, which they want to store, which they'll be able to. जैसे अब suppose there is a African country from which we are buying oil, हम उन्हें रुपी में दे रहे हो पैसे. They'll accept rupee if they can use rupee for other international trade, if they can use rupee for reserves, if they can use rupee for buying things from China or buying things from other countries, they'll take rupee then. But rupee is not being used for those things right now. Rupee is not acceptable for those things right now. So when we say internationalization हो जाए rupee का, it means it will be used for cross-border transaction. It will be used for import and export trades, and then it will be used for current account, other current account transactions as well as capital account transaction. Capital account transaction मतलब आप investment कर रहे हो दूसरी country में, आप FII कर रहे हो, you will be able to do it using rupee. Internationalization of rupee would mean that. Now, for this to happen, we need full capital account convertibility. We need availability of rupee in sufficient amount, and we need to open up currency settlement and strong swap and forex market. Now, what we are trying to say here is, एक तो ना इंडिया में अभी full capital account convertibility नहीं है. What is meant by this? Though it's a separate topic, we'll study it separately. But when it comes to current account in the sense, आपको कोई चीज इंपोर्ट करनी है, कोई चीज एक्सपोर्ट करनी है, तो you'll pay in rupee or like rupee will be converted to dollars. So any amount of rupee can be converted into dollars. India has full current account convertibility. You can convert any amount of rupee into dollar, any amount of rupee into forex, foreign currency. India allows that. But India में अभी भी full capital account convertibility नहीं है. Capital account convertibility is only partial. That is, you want to, let's say, convert rupee into dollar and take rupee, invest that dollar somewhere outside. जैसे हमने तो that kind of capital account convertibility, full capital account convertibility is not there in India. India has not yet allowed it. But हम बोल रहे हैं अगर आपको रुपी को internationalize करना होगा, will you have to provide full capital account convertibility also? अगर यूएस ने डॉलर को रिस्ट्रिक्ट करके रखा होता कि नहीं, for investment purpose will only, for capital account purpose will only allow limited amount of conversion, that would dollar have become internationalized? No, dollar would not have become internationalized. So if you want your currency to be internationalized, you will have to go for full current account convertibility as well as full capital account convertibility. तो हमारा full current account convertibility तो है, but we don't have full capital account convertibility. So what will it require if we want to internationalize it? It should have full capital account convertibility. It should be available in sufficient quantities. अब कोई दूसरी कंट्री है, वो डॉलर वो रुपी को रिजर्व्स में रखने लगे अपने फॉरेक्स रिजर्व में, तो इनफ अमाउंट ऑफ रुपी शुड बी देयर, नो एल्स व्हाट वुड हैपन? रुपी सबके रिजर्व में चला जाएगा, रुपी शॉर्टेज में हो जाएगा, रुपी will appreciate a lot, it may create problems. Similarly, opening up of currency settlement and strong swap and forex market, करेंसी सेटलमेंट, स्वैप मार्केट, फॉरेक्स मार्केट, सो दैट रुपी किसी भी कंट्री में इजीली स्वैप हो पाए, किसी इजीली कन्वर्ट हो पाए. ओनली देन रुपी विल, देखो, इफ यू हैव टू गो टू एनी कंट्री from India, you take dollars, you convert your rupee into dollars, because dollars can be used, can be acceptable anywhere. Dollars can be converted with the currency. If you go to Thailand, आप डॉलर लेके जाओगे, डॉलर से वहां की करेंसी में कन्वर्ट कर लोगे. That is why dollar is a international currency. Whereas when we want for this to happen for rupee will also have to provide all these facility. RBI will also have to ensure that these things are available everywhere. These are some things that we'll need, but these are not the only things. Globally, everyone should start accepting rupee. ये सब तो हमें करना पड़ेगा. If everyone is like, चलो rupee is also an international currency, let us use rupee as an international currency. But other than these things, first what needs to happen? Countries should agree that we will use rupee in our forex reserves, will use rupee for our international trade, and they should start trusting India so much that there will be enough amount of rupee available. Then rupee will get internationalized. But why do we want this to happen? Why internationalization of rupee is needed? It is needed to reduce exchange rate risk. देखो अभी क्या होता है कि $1 was 80 rupees and we were buying oil in $1, so we were paying 80 rupees. Now $1 become 100 rupees and we are buying oil in $1, but now we are paying 100 rupees. ये currency risk हो गया ना. If rupee was accepted as international currency और UAE में एक बैरल तेल निकालने के लिए 80 रुपए ही खर्च हो रहे हैं, तो will we be able to get one barrel oil in 80 rupees only? It would not matter how much has exchange rate fluctuated between dollar and rupee. Will directly be able to use rupee? Will we directly be able to use rupee? So it reduces exchange rate risk. Do we understand this? एक्सचेंज रेट फ्लक्चुएट होने की वजह से हमारी करेंसी और हमारे इंपोर्ट बिल्स नहीं बढ़ेंगे. Second, it reduces the need for forex war chest. Right now we have more than $600 billion का forex reserve for emergency purpose, right? But if rupee is an international currency, during crisis we have more rupee, we can print more rupee and import whatever we want. So it will reduce the need of forex war chest. अभी $600 billion in a way is kept aside. वो important resources that could have been used for development of the country, but for emergency purposes we have kept them aside. That will not be needed. It will lower the cost of capital due to better access to international financial market. When we have to borrow money, etc., if our currency is international currency, financial market is more comfortable with us. Promotes ease of doing business. Why? Unnecessary conversion, ये all those things would not be needed. For an exporter, export कर रहा है, रुपये में ही पैसे मिल जा रहे हैं. For an importer, import कर रहा है, रुपये में ही पैसे दे दे रहा है. Is it promoting ease of doing business? Reduce transaction cost. When you convert rupee into dollar, बैंक अपना एक commission लेता है. All these things increase the transaction cost, but that will come down, and then it will also have geopolitical significance. If your currency is recognized as an international currency, if your currency is acceptable as international currency, it indicates that your economy is quite big. There is a lot of trade of you with a lot of other people and they are accepting your currency. तो इसके geopolitical advantages भी हो जाएंगे. तो US dollar dominated global currency system can become limitation for economy if India's relation with US and Europe becomes tense in future. जैसे अभी रशिया के केस में देखो, Russia is facing a lot of challenges in getting money for its imports because dollars में trade करना उनके लिए difficult हो गया because Russia and US have tense relations. But that will not be the case if our rupee is internationalized. Got it? Comfortable है यहाँ पे? तो करंटली कौन कौन सी कंट्रीज वो है इंटरनेशनलाइज है? यूएस डॉलर, यूरो, जापानीज येन and pound sterling are the leading reserve currencies in the world. China is also taking efforts to make its currency a reserve currency. It has not met with a lot of success though. But what is the factor which is making US dollar as the most common currency of reserve and exchange? Why US dollar is the main currency when it comes to international currencies? One, the size of US economy. अब यूएस से इतने सारे ट्रेड करते हैं लोग, यूएस इज द लार्जेस्ट इकोनॉमी ऑफ द वर्ल्ड. व्हाट हैपेंस इज इवेंचुअली पैसा हमें यूएस से लेना है, यूएस को देना है, तो देयर करेंसी इज समथिंग दैट इज मोर सुटेबल. देन रीच ऑफ इट्स ट्रेड एंड फाइनेंशियल मार्केट, देयर बैंक्स, देयर बिजनेसेस have penetrated all over the world. Depth and liquidity of US financial market, that is amount. अब rupee is available in limited amount, but dollars का availability is much larger. Currency convertibility, they have full current account as well as capital account convertibility, and there is a lack of viable alternative also, and that is why people have dependent on dollars more. Now, what do we need to do or what have we done to promote internationalization of rupee? What steps have already been taken to promote internationalization of rupee? First is we have liberalized capital account. Over the years, government has relaxed FII, FDI norms, facilitating greater cross-border investment and trade. But full convertibility पे अभी भी वो नहीं है. Enabling ECB in rupee. External commercial borrowing. क्या rupee denominated bonds issue कर सकते हैं हम? मसाला bonds वाले फंडे लेके आए हैं. This is the first step. जैसे China, when it wanted to internationalize its currency, it came up with dim sum bonds. Rupee denomination में बात करते हैं. Currency swap agreement with several countries. Currency exchange agreement with several countries we have signed. RBI allowed banks from 18 countries to open special Vostro rupee account for settling payment in Indian rupees. RBI constituted interdepartmental group headed by RBI executive Radha Shyam Rathod. तो Radha Shyam Rathod headed group focused on what should be done to promote internationalization of currency. And यहाँ पे ना उनके suggestions भी दिए हुए हैं. IDG has highlighted following limitation that may arise due to internationalization of rupee, and it has said that it was this. कहाँ गया एक मिनट. Interdepartmental group headed by RBI executive Radho Shyam Rathod बनाया गया था. For what? For internationalization of rupee. He say the committee said that internationalization may lead to some problem. One, exchange rate volatility, as will not be able to restrict the supply of rupee. बात समझ में आ रही है? अगर globally it is being used, will not be able to do this कि यार रुपये का सप्लाई बहुत ज्यादा reduce कर दो. Our control over monetary policy will reduce slightly. Then it may also lead to Triffin dilemma. Obligation of a country to supply its currency to meet the global demand may come in conflict with domestic monetary policy. Domestic monetary policy may say what? Tighten the monetary policy, fight inflation. Domestic monetary policy ये बोलेगा, but if your currency is international currency, what is important? Everyone should have access to that currency. It should be available in enough quantity. This is known as Triffin dilemma. तो जब आप अपनी करेंसी को इंटरनेशनलाइज कर दो, ये प्रॉब्लम्स आती हैं. Then accentuation of external shock may take place due to open channel of flow of funds into and out of the country and from one currency to another. If our currency is international currency, there will be a lot of use of this currency, and any global crisis will have a huge impact on India. जैसे अभी US का dollar is very well integrated with every country in the world. Crisis anywhere somehow have impact on them also, because their banking sector gets affected. Their banking sector is very much penetrated all over the world. Right? So crisis anywhere impacts them. And that will also be the situation of India. ये challenges बताए थे. There are some other challenges that in general we can have. Challenges in achieving internationalization. what are the factors? We have taken some steps to promote internationalization, but there are several issues which is impacting internationalization. One, we have large trade deficit. When we have large trade deficit, what happens is हम दूसरी कंट्री को बोल रहे हैं यार हम रुपी में तुम्हें पे करेंगे. They'll say okay, we'll pay you back in rupee, but still पैसे बच जाते हैं उनके पास because we export more than import. So large trade deficit becomes a factor which hinders internationalization. ऐसे सोचो, रशिया को हम रुपी में पे करने लगे, रशिया वो रुपी ले लेके रख रहा होगा because रशिया does not import a lot of things from us. So large trade deficit is a concern. Then lack of liquidity, the amount that is needed for the amount of cash that is needed for rupee to become internationalized, that is not there. And then underdeveloped financial market, our financial market is still not mature. जैसे अभी तक हमारे पास corporate bond market is not properly developed. All these things also have, the US का dollar can become international currency because they have a very mature financial market. They have very deeply penetrated financial institution. That is not the case with India. अब इस कमेटी ने रिकमेंडेशन क्या दिया था? आईडीजी जो बनाया था आरबीआई ने to promote internationalization, what do we need to do? Adoption of standardized approach for examining the proposal on bilateral and multilateral trade agreement for invoicing, settlement and payment in rupee and local currency. This is first thing. तो इन्होंने बोला short term में you do this. Bilateral चीजों में when you have to promote what? Rupee as the currency, you have to adopt standardized approach for examining the proposal here. Some standard mechanism should be there. Encourage the opening of rupee account for non-resident both in India and outside India. India में people should have more rupee accounts rather than account in dollar. ऐसे ही outside India people should be able to allowed to open rupee account. Incentivize exporters to use Indian currency for trade settlements. Exporters are getting dollars. Incentivize them. You ask them for what? Rupee. You ask them for rupee. When you ask them for rupee, उन्हें rupee arrange करना पड़ेगा, rupee ही देना पड़ेगा. Will this lead to internationalization of rupee? Yes. Integrating payment system to provide seamless cross-border transaction. अब कोई foreigner rupee में pay करना चाह रहा है, उसके लिए cross-border transaction mechanism for rupee should agree. Should exist, strengthening the financial market by fostering global 24/5 rupee market, recalibration of FPI regime. 24/7 नहीं, 5 दिन के लिए वो बोल रहे हैं कि that rupee market should be functioning. Medium term measures में synchronizing tax regime of India and other financial center, जो important financial center of the world है, the tax system there should be roughly similar. Allowing banking services in rupee outside the country, allowing international use of RTGS for cross-border trade, inclusion of Indian government bonds in global bond indices. These are certain suggestions which are being given by the committee, which will help us which will take us towards internationalization of rupee. Abhi we are very far away from internationalization of rupee. China, which has been taking so many measures, has still not been able to get its currency acceptable. But China has used everything, hook and crook everything. वो सबको लोन दे रहा है अपनी करेंसी में, उनके पास इतना पैसा है, they're able to do it. तो in long term they may be able to internationalize it. Right now we are way behind, तो it may still be a concern. कोई हाथ उठा रहा था, बताइए. Sorry? नहीं, it has not, because capital account और trade deficit तो अलग चीज है. Trade deficit तो current account वाली चीज होती है ना. Why India has? हाँ, देखो उसके लिए ना, अब when you allow full capital account convertibility, you have to ensure कि आपके पास ना enough रुपी है, वरना कोई कितना भी रुपी डॉलर में कन्वर्ट कर लेगा, लेके जाएगा, कितना भी डॉलर आके रुपी में कन्वर्ट कर लेगा, it may have negative impact on smaller economies, developing economies. Yes. वो स्ट्रो अकाउंट ना, जैसे ना किसी पर्पस के लिए, एक पर्टिकुलर पर्पस के लिए आप वो अकाउंट खोल लेते हो, that becomes वो स्ट्रो अकाउंट. हाँ, वो स्ट्रो मतलब अब ऐसे कैसे समझाऊं मैं कि that account is for rupee and that account is for this trade only. उसका exact meaning मुझे वस्ट्रो का नहीं पता, but it's for that purpose only. नहीं, अभी तो हम अपनी करेंसी का इंडिया स्पेसिफिक वस्ट्रो अकाउंट खोल, रुपी की वस्ट्रो अकाउंट खोलने की बात कर रहे हैं ना. किसमें? नोस्ट्रो मुझे नहीं पता यार, मुझे नहीं पता ये वाली चीज. वोस्टो में तो अभी आप अपनी करेंसी की बात कर रहे हैं, तो जब डॉलर का वोस्टो अकाउंट खुल रहा है तो वो डॉलर रहेगा उसमें। हम इंडिया का वोस्टो अकाउंट खोलने की बात कर रहे हैं तो ये रहेगा। ओके, लेट्स कम टू करंट एक्सटर्नल सेक्टर सिनेरियो। ये पीआईबी में आफ्टर द इकोनॉमिक सर्वे ऑफ इंडिया हैड कम, तो पीआईबी हैड गिवन सर्टेन डेटा रिलेटेड टू इट। तो ओवरऑल ट्रेड डेफिसिट इंडिया का कितना है? 78 बिलियन डॉलर से कौन सी ईयर में? FY24। अभी FY25 का डेटा विल कम समवेयर इन जुलाई अगस्त। We are going through FY25 right now. So we have a trade deficit of around $78 billion. Now, India is the 7th largest service exporting country in the world. Service export में we are better. India ranks second in the world in telecommunication, computer and information services export. तो IT और इन सारी चीजों को आप एक साथ लोगे तो we are second largest in the world. India's current account deficit improves due to modernization in merchandise imports and rising service exports. तो यहाँ पे आप देखो trade deficit is $78 billion, but it has reduced. Reduced from what? FY23. FY23 में it was $121 billion. It has come down to what? $78 billion. इस वजह से we are saying that current account deficit has also improved. Remittances has reached a milestone of $120 billion in 2023. $120 billion in 2023. अभी 24 का नहीं बोला है इन्होंने। 24 में दे एक्सपेक्ट इट टू गो टू फर्दर $124 billion. Now, India receives highest equity inflows among emerging market. Equity inflows means stock market etc. में inflow. Net capital flow stood at $86.3 billion during FY24 against $58 billion here. Net FPI was 44. India residents overseas financial assets. Indian residents over हम यहाँ पे resident और उनके overseas assets stood at 1028 billion or $1 trillion as on March 2024. It was 11% higher. And external debt to GDP ratio. अब सारे डेटा में ना ये वाला पार्ट सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट है। External debt to GDP ratio has declined to 18.7% at the end of March 2024. 18.7. अब अपना GDP कितना है? 300 लाख करोड़ और बिलियन डॉलर्स में बताओ, ट्रिलियन डॉलर्स में बताओ तो 3.2 3.3 ट्रिलियन डॉलर ऐसे मान लेते हैं अभी। उसका 18% विल बी व्हाट? अराउंड $50 billion। नहीं, इसका 18% अराउंड $500 billion। हाँ, अराउंड $500 billion। इतना हमारा क्या है? एक्सटर्नल डेट है। बट इज दैट एक्सटर्नल डेट ऑफ गवर्नमेंट? गवर्नमेंट का एक्सटर्नल डेट इज मच लेसर। आप लाख करोड़ में बात करते हो, गवर्नमेंट का टोटल डेट वाज अराउंड 185 लाख करोड़। उसमें ओनली अराउंड 5 लाख करोड़ वाज व्हाट? एक्सटर्नल डेट। और सॉरी, ओनली अराउंड 5% वाज एक्सटर्नल डेट। बट यहाँ पे नंबर्स आर कमिंग मच लार्जर। व्हाट डज इट इंडिकेट? गवर्नमेंट के अलावा एक्सटर्नल डेट इज मच हायर। ओके, लेट मी अगेन, लेट्स से हम एवरेज करने के लिए से क्या ले लेते हैं? 20%। इंडिया का जीडीपी कितना है? लेट्स से इट इज 300 लाख करोड़। एग्जैक्ट नंबर पे नहीं जाते हैं, तो 300 लाख करोड़ का 20% इज 60 लाख करोड़। वेयरएस आर गवर्नमेंट डेट वाज 185 लाख करोड़। उसका 5%, लेस देन 5% वाज व्हाट? एक्सटर्नल डेट। तो 9 लाख करोड़ वाज एक्सटर्नल डेट ऑफ गवर्नमेंट। रिमेनिंग एक्सटर्नल डेट किसका है? कमर्शियल एंटिटीज। एक क्वेश्चन भी किया था ना हमने, कमर्शियल एंटिटीज का डेट, एक्सटर्नल डेट इज higher. ECB has bigger contribution than this thing. Okay. So this is one aspect. I hope we have clarity here. तो ये कुछ डेटा है। अगेन अब नया इकोनॉमिक सर्वे ऑफ इंडिया आएगा, इट में गिव अस बेटर डेटा, बेटर सिचुएशन, बट ये कुछ डेटा है, हमें थोड़ा सा पता रहना चाहिए। नाउ लेट्स कम टू एक्सपोर्ट सेक्टर। In FY24 our overall trade deficit was $78 billion. ये हमने ऊपर भी देखा। Though it has reduced, it was $121 billion in FY23. It has come to this. But why does India face such huge trade deficit? Why is our trade deficit on higher side? उसका एक रीजन है huge dependency on fossil fuel import. That is primary reason for energy purpose we are dependent on this import. Then underperformance in exports. India's global export share is less than 2%. China के केस में देखोगे तो it's around 13%. और why is it so? Because of poor manufacturing in India, less diversification in export market. There are around 10 principal items which contribute to around 80% of our total export. So we need to diversify our export. Diversify means we need to create more items which are in demand globally. Then there is less focus on scientific research and development. It also hampers India's export. Why will or how will it hamper India's export? Less focus on scientific research and development. हम नए प्रोडक्ट्स, यूनिक प्रोडक्ट्स नहीं बनाएंगे. अगर R&D हमारी अच्छी होती, अब देखो चाइना इज डूइंग अ लॉट ऑफ R&D. तो चाइना हैज बीन एबल टू डेवलप सो मेनी प्रोडक्ट्स. चाइना से सेमीकंडक्टर्स, चाइना से बाकी सारी चीजें आ रही हैं, चाइना से बहुत सारे फोन्स आ रहे हैं. इन इंडिया जैसे ना कल आई वाज रीडिंग एन आर्टिकल वेयर ऐसे बोला जा रहा था कि यहाँ पे इन्होंने तमिलनाडु में Hyundai ने ये शुरू किया है. क्या शुरू किया है? बैटरी लाइक इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल प्रमोट कर रहे हैं, तो इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल में बैटरी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग प्लांट शुरू किया. तो आई वाज वेरी हैप्पी, बट देन आई रेड इट इन डिटेल. इट वाज बैटरी असेंबली प्लांट. हाँ, तो वो बहुत बड़ी न्यूज थी, बट इट वाज व्हाट? इट वाज अ बैटरी असेंबली प्लांट. अब असेंबली से क्या हो जाएगा? They'll be importing components because वो components हम खुद मैन्युफैक्चर नहीं कर रहे हैं because of poor R&D in the country. वो कोर काम बाकी लोग कर पा रहे हैं. तो लेस फोकस ऑन साइंटिफिक रिसर्च एंड डेवलपमेंट, हायर कॉस्ट ऑफ लॉजिस्टिक्स. अभी हम इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर सेक्टर पढ़ेंगे, उसमें हम देखेंगे वी केम अप विद लॉजिस्टिक पॉलिसी वेयर वी वांट कि हमारा लॉजिस्टिक कॉस्ट विच इज अराउंड 13 to 15% राइट नाउ. तो इस पेन को मैन्युफैक्चर करने में, इस पेन को एंड कस्टमर तक पहुंचाने में 13 to 50% इज द कॉस्ट ऑफ लॉजिस्टिक्स, ट्रांसपोर्टेशन, स्टोरेज एक्सेट्रा. That in India is higher than the global standards. That also hampers our exportability because इसका transport cost इतना ज्यादा हो जाता है, our businesses are not able to compete. Then not able to utilize its demographic dividend due to poor skill levels in the country. ये skill development levels being poor in the country also becomes a concern, and we are not creating enough jobs, we are not creating enough infrastructure, we are not creating enough manufacturing abilities. अब कुछ स्टेप्स हमने लिए हैं, जैसे रिमिशन ऑफ ड्यूटीज ऑन टैक्सेस ऑन एक्सपोर्टेड प्रोडक्ट. अब इसके डिटेल में जाने की ऐसा जरूरत नहीं है, अगर इकोनॉमिक सर्वे ऑफ इंडिया विल डिस्कस इट इन लॉट तो हम उसे चले जाएंगे. बट इसमें क्या है, जो एक्सपोर्टेड प्रोडक्ट्स है, एक्सपोर्ट इज जीरो रेटेड इफ यू रिमेंबर. तो उस पे आपने जितनी भी ड्यूटी दी है, टैक्स दिया है, दैट इज रिमिटेड. ऐसी एक्सपोर्ट प्रमोशन कैपिटल गुड स्कीम है जिसमें वी आर प्रमोटिंग एक्सपोर्ट इन कैपिटल गुड. National logistic policy we have launched where we want that by 2030 we should be reaching global standards in logistic efficiency. We are promoting manufacturing sector through Atmanirbhar Bharat initiative, various PLI schemes, increased focus on renewable energies there so that there is less dependency on imported oil, crude oil, etc. These are certain steps which are contributing to our promotion of exports. But again, ये सारी चीजें has not been very very effective. हमने PLI schemes launch की हैं, but PLI schemes are still not very successful in the core industries. Core industries मतलब जहां सेमीकंडक्टर बने. PLI schemes के अंदर we are manufacturing phones, but वो फोन क्या हो रहे हैं? असेंबल हो रहे हैं. जैसे I gave this example in the past also. China is, China बोल रहा हूँ, Apple is manufacturing their phones in India, but उसके components अभी भी import ही हो रहे हैं. We are not able to manufacture those components. That is an issue. Okay, so let's come to foreign trade policy. अभी 2023 में India came up with foreign trade policy. Idea क्या है? Foreign trade बढ़ाना. और foreign trade में बढ़ाना, what will we want to increase? Import or export? We would want to increase exports, है ना? Foreign trade में import तो नहीं बढ़ाना चाहेंगे. अब एक्सपोर्ट बढ़ता है तो इकोनॉमी ग्रो होती है, तो इंपोर्ट भी बढ़ रहा है. बट प्राइमरी पर्पस तो एक कुछ चीजें जो याद रखना है ना, उसमें ये रखो. एक की एम्स एंड ऑब्जेक्टिव्स ऑफ इंडियाज फॉरेन ट्रेड पॉलिसी में बूस्ट इंडियाज एक्सपोर्ट टू $2 ट्रिलियन बाय 2030. फैक्चुअली आपसे अगर कुछ पूछा, बाकी चीजें तो आप स्टेटमेंट देख के भी समझ सकते हो कि हाँ यार, हम ईज ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस प्रमोट करेंगे. क्या करेंगे? ऑब्वियसली. विल वी आइडेंटिफाई प्रोडक्ट्स फ्रॉम डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स एंड एवरी डिस्ट्रिक्ट से यूनिक प्रोडक्ट्स एक्सपोर्ट करवाने की कोशिश करेंगे. एमएसएमई सेक्टर को ज्यादा एफिशिएंट बनाएंगे सो दैट दे कैन एक्सपोर्ट देयर प्रोडक्ट. यस, कॉमन सेंस से पता लग जाएगा. अब जब ऑप्शंस देखोगे प्रीलिम्स वाले, क्या पता नहीं चलता? डेटा, फैक्ट. तो हमारा फॉरेन ट्रेड पॉलिसी 2023 का टारगेट क्या है? इंक्रीजिंग एक्सपोर्ट्स ऑफ इंडिया टू 2 ट्रिलियन बाय 2030। देन देखो, अब ये सब मुझे बताने की जरूरत नहीं है। स्ट्रेंथन इंडियाज एक्सपोर्ट कॉम्पिटिटिवनेस, ये तो ऑब्वियसली अगर आपके ऑप्शंस में दिखेगा आप बोलोगे हाँ ये करना ही चाहिए। डाइवर्सिफाई एक्सपोर्ट बास्केट, वी नो दिस वाज अ प्रॉब्लम इन आवर एक्सपोर्ट सिस्टम। एक्सपैंड एक्सपोर्ट मार्केट एंड प्रमोट सस्टेनेबल एक्सपोर्ट, ये सब पढ़ाने की जरूरत नहीं है ना। बस ये वाला पार्ट याद रखो, बाकी सब एक बार ना आप रीड कर लेना, आपको मोर और लेस सब कुछ समझ में आ जाएगा। ये वाला सेक्शन याद रखो, व्हाट इज द टारगेट ऑफ आवर फॉरेन ट्रेड पॉलिसी? बाय 2030 हमारा एक्सपोर्ट शुड इंक्रीज टू $2 ट्रिलियन। ये जो मैंने स्कीम्स वगैरह बताई थी ना, उनके थोड़े से डिटेल है, एक बार आप रीड करेंगे इसे। लेट्स कम टू एफडीआई एंड एफपीआईस। Kanhaiya is asking, why is Japanese yen so depreciated? $1 is equal to 155 yen. इसे ऐसे मत समझो, नहीं नहीं, ऐसे समझो ना यार, अगर हम रुपी की जगह पैसे बोलने लगते तो things may have appeared different, तो they could have changed these things, but उससे फर्क ज्यादा पड़ता नहीं। ओके, so kindly try to say your examples in English also. Examples means, अच्छा चलो, I'll try that. Any example that I give is in English. What is the role of swap in India? चलो मैं बताता हूँ swap का क्या रोल है। नहीं, स्विफ्ट बोल रहे हो आप? अच्छा, हाँ, देखो, when we have to make payments within the country, RBI provides mechanism कि interbank कैसे payment हो। Internationally it happens through SWIFT. And India participating in it? Yes, India is participating in it. But the problem is, जैसे अभी Russia is facing challenges. वेस्ट के साथ रशिया के रिलेशंस गॉट टेंस्ड, रशिया स्टार्टेड फेसिंग इशू। अब टुमारो इंडिया रिलेशन विद वेस्ट में गेट टेंस्ड, तो डिपेंडेंसी ऑन स्विफ्ट पे क्रिएट प्रॉब्लम्स। तो रशिया recommends ki we should create another payment system, but again the problem is if India wants to participate in it, western countries would be unhappy and we have a lot of dependency of export etc on western countries, तो वो अपने इश्यूज चलते रहते हैं। we may need an alternative, but an alternative with Russia may create issues. ऐसे ही अभी जैसे अब Trump has come to power, है ना, you will see he has started taking various measures उनके अपने perspective से, like climate change जैसी कोई चीज नहीं, Paris Agreement से निकल गए, है ना, we'll do more drilling, drill it baby, है ना, ऐसा कुछ उन्होंने, ऐसा कुछ आया था ना कल हेडलाइन किसी ने, कुछ वैसा आया था कि ड्रिलिंग करनी है सारी, वो हरकतें चल रही हैं। अब वो किसी भी बात से, अब तुम बात कर लो, उठाओ उठाओ, तुम फोन उठाओ, कोई बात नहीं, वो वोडाफोन से बोल रही होगी, तुम बात करो, वही तुम्हारा लव इंटरेस्ट है। साइलेंट पे था फिर भी बच गया, तुमसे ज्यादा गिरा हुआ थोड़ी है, गिरता रहता है, साइलेंट अपने आप हट गया, गिरने से फोन टूटता है इसका क्या है? चलो लेट्स कम टू इन्वेस्टमेंट। देखो हमने बीच में हम डाइवर्ट हुए थोड़ा सा किससे, वी वर स्टडीइंग बेसिकली कैपिटल अकाउंट। कैपिटल अकाउंट में वी हैड स्टडीड, पहला पॉइंट क्या, कैपिटल अकाउंट में वी सेड लोन्स, है ना। फिर वी टॉक्ड अबाउट बैंकिंग कैपिटल, एंड फिर बीच में हम एक्सचेंज रेट वाले टॉपिक पे आए। फिर उसके साथ हमने एक्सपोर्ट फॉरेन ट्रेड पॉलिसी उन सब की बात करी। बट नाउ लेट अस टॉक अबाउट इन्वेस्टमेंट वाला कंपोनेंट। देयर वाज अ इन्वेस्टमेंट वाला कंपोनेंट एंड वी हैड सेड दैट देयर वर टू टाइप्स ऑफ इन्वेस्टमेंट, एफडीआई एंड एफआईआई। अब ना देखो, फॉरेन डायरेक्ट इन्वेस्टमेंट, मैंने उस टाइम रूल क्या बता दिया था, एफआईआई इज व्हेन यू आर इन्वेस्टिंग इन listed company. अब not all investment in listed company will be FDI, FII, समझेंगे उसे। FDI is when you are investing in unlisted company. अब डिफरेंस क्या होता है, देखो, इफ यू आर इन्वेस्टिंग इन लिस्टेड कंपनी, मैं रिलायंस इंडस्ट्रीज में इन्वेस्ट कर रहा हूं, तो कैन इज विड्रॉइंग मनी फ्रॉम देयर इज वेरी इजी, आई विल जस्ट सेल माय स्टॉक्स एंड गो अवे। बट इफ आई एम इन्वेस्टिंग इन अनलिस्टेड कंपनी, लेट्स से कोई फॉरेन से आके लेवल अप आईएएस में इन्वेस्ट करता है, he buys 5% shares of LevelUp IAS. Now, when he buys 5% shares of LevelUp IAS, that is called FDI, and taking out this investment is difficult because he'll have to find someone else. यार इसे खरीद लो. On stock market, he could have just given a sale order and someone would have bought it. But यहाँ पे he'll have to buy some prospect. He will have to find some prospective buyer, sell it, and then go away. So this investment is more stable. Or this was one way of investing. Other way of investing is someone comes, buys land here, puts machine here, and starts manufacturing. This investment is what? FDI, stable. Okay, तो ये सारे इन्वेस्टमेंट FDI वाले हैं। और जैसे ही when I invest in stock market में भी कहा, स्टॉक्स में कहा, लिस्टेड कंपनीज में, it is FII because I can sell those shares whenever I want. Now it is FPI. So there is FDI, there is FPI, portfolio investment and direct investment. But sometimes what happens, let's say I own 20% of Reliance. Let's say I own, और forget Reliance बहुत बड़ी कंपनी है, किसी और कंपनी की बात करते हैं, I own 20% of that. I'm a foreigner. Through FPI, I invested 20% in a company. Now the problem is, if I want to get out and I start selling this 20%, the price of stock will reduce drastically and I'll not be able to get the right returns because बहुत सारे सेल ऑर्डर होंगे, बाय ऑर्डर्स इतने सारे नहीं होंगे, तो I'll not be able to sell it that easily. So even these investments are considered FDI. If you have invested in a listed company also, if you have invested in more than 10% of the shares, you are what? FDI. हमने क्या बोला, लिस्टेड कंपनी में इन्वेस्टमेंट, वैसे तो हम उसे FPI बोल रहे हैं, but if you have invested more than 10% in a listed company, it is what? FDI. तो फॉरेन डायरेक्ट इन्वेस्टमेंट क्या है? इट्स एन इन्वेस्टमेंट थ्रू कैपिटल इंस्ट्रूमेंट बाय अ पर्सन हु इज रेजिडेंट आउटसाइड इंडिया in an unlisted Indian company. If you are investing in an unlisted Indian company, it is a FDI, or in 10% or more of the post-issue paid-up equity capital on a fully diluted basis of a listed Indian company. इसे अभी कॉम्प्लेक्स चीज छोड़ देते हैं, ऐसे समझो, लिस्टेड कंपनी में more than 10% अगर आपने इन्वेस्ट कर दिया, then also it is FDI. So if you are investing in unlisted company, it is FDI. If you are investing in a listed company but more than 10%, did you understand the reason? Selling it will be difficult. Selling it will be difficult. Getting out of it will be difficult. अब समझते हैं बाकी चीजें. Fully diluted basis, listed company, fully diluted basis. इसे ऐसे समझो, suppose this listed company has total 1000 shares. Has total 1000 shares, but it also has some bonds which are going to be converted. तो ये जो 1000 shares है, they may actually, when fully diluted, may become 1500 shares. 500 shares may get created more. जब वो bonds are debts अभी, but they will eventually get converted into शेयर्स, तो फुली डाइल्यूटेड बेसिस पे नंबर ऑफ शेयर्स कितने हो जाएंगे? 1500। तो 10% ऑफ 1500, नॉट 10% ऑफ 1000. 10% ऑफ 1500 विल मेक योर इन्वेस्टमेंट टू बी FDI. अब बात समझ में आई? फुली डाइल्यूटेड बेसिस, 10% of the company, you own 10% of the company, in 10% and more of the post issue paid up equity capital on a fully diluted basis of a listed Indian company, on a fully diluted basis वाला. Okay, बात समझ में आई? Simple terms ऐसे समझो, suppose a company has 1000 shares. You say I have invested in 100 shares. I own 10% of the company. It should be FDI. Government may come and say, no, it's not FDI because they have 1000 shares true, but they have also taken loans. कैसे? By which mechanism? By convertible bonds. So these bonds may get converted into shares, and after that number of shares will be 1500. तो ये जो fully diluted basis पे जो है, number of shares would be 1500. So you should own 150 shares to become a FDI. Now do we understand this? Now do 10% of equity capital on a fully diluted basis of a listed Indian company. Do we get this? Any share which has not yet been created, which has not yet been converted, should be taken into consideration here. So FDI is what? Investment by a non-resident into a company here which is not listed, or into a company which is listed, but in that more than 10% or more than 10% of investment is FDI. Now प्रीलिम्स के लिए ना कुछ और बेसिक चीजें आपको FDI रिलेटेड पता होनी चाहिए. What are those? यार अभी क्लाइमेट चेंज पे लड़ाई मत नहीं करते. भीम टेक्नोलॉजी कैन बी यूज्ड टू अल्टरनेट फॉर स्विफ्ट. नहीं बेटा, भीम इज एन ऐप फॉर रुपी वाले ट्रांजैक्शन के लिए ना. आपको अगर इंटरनेशनल ट्रांजैक्शन करने होंगे एक इंडियन बैंक से इंटरनेशनल बैंक किसी और बैंक में, तो आपको एक इंटरनेशनल सिस्टम इज एक्सेप्टेबल बाय एवरीवन, वो करना होगा. ओके, लेट्स कम बैक. अब एफडीआई के बारे में ना कुछ बेसिक चीजें. अच्छा, एक और इंपॉर्टेंट चीज है. Once in FDI, always in FDI. That is, suppose I have invested in more than 10% of the shares, but फिर मैंने बाद में बेच दिया, मेरे पास सिर्फ 5% of the shares रह गए in a listed company. It will still be considered FDI. It will still be considered what? FDI, not FPI. मैं रिलायंस इंडस्ट्रीज के 11% शेयर्स ओन करता हूं अभी, तो दिस इन्वेस्टमेंट इज व्हाट? FDI और FPI? FDI. But suppose I sell some shares and now I own less than 10% of the shares. तो less than 10% of the share in listed company वैसे तो FPI है, but एक बार आपका इन्वेस्टमेंट FDI बन गया तो it is FDI only. Once in FDI, always in FDI. Got it? Okay. Key facts about India's FDI policy. Basic चीजें about India's FDI policy. One, who are eligible? A non-resident entity can invest in India subject to FDI policy except in those sectors activities which are prohibited. हम देखेंगे एटॉमिक सेक्टर्स, ये सारी चीजें prohibited. उनके अलावा आप इन्वेस्ट कर सकते हो. बट दो कंट्रीज स्पेशल है, बांग्लादेश और पाकिस्तान. A citizen entity from Bangladesh can only invest under the government route. तो देखो, जब आप FDI करते हो, इन्वेस्टमेंट करते हो, there is a government approval route and there is automatic route. Government approval route में you have to take permission from the ministry. पहले there was a separate body to permit it, but now आपको ministry से permission लेनी पड़ती है. And then there is an automatic route where you do not have to specially go and take permission from government. तो FDI में in some areas what do we have? Automatic route से investment. In some areas what do we have? Government route. तो अब government is giving up its control more or less. It is trying to make FDI system more liberalized so that what happens? Foreign players don't find it difficult to invest in India. But for Bangladesh, any citizen or entity from Bangladesh can only invest under the government route. They cannot invest in the automatic route. And then for Pakistan, they can invest only under government route in sectors activities other than defense, space, atomic energy and prohibited sectors for foreign investment. तो पाकिस्तान वालों के लिए थोड़ा ज्यादा restriction है. Okay, now these are the prohibited sector: lottery business, gambling, chit funds, nidhi company, trading in transferable development rights, real estate business, manufacturing of cigars, cigarillos, ये सारे cigarettes उनसे associated terms ही हैं. Activity sectors not open to private investment include atomic energy, railway operations other than permitted activity. रेलवे में कुछ activities हैं जहाँ पे FDI allowed है, but कुछ में allowed नहीं है, तो other than permitted activities railway operations में it is not allowed. तो ये कुछ basic चीजें हैं. Now why has India emerged as an attractive destination for FDI? In recent years, India has been one of the most attractive destination. अब एक बार economic survey आ जाएगा तो हम latest data भी add कर लेंगे अपने notes में कि इंडिया में इतना FDI आया. But India is an attractive destination because in recent years we have liberalized investments. Liberalized investment means आप अगर 2005 में जाओ इंडिया में, FDI was allowed in limited number of areas, in lesser numbers, only 30% is allowed, only 50% is allowed, only 75% is allowed. Now in most of the area up to 100% FDI is allowed, and that through automatic route. You do not have to go to government and take permission. So this is what are we saying? In India, FDI up to 100% is allowed in non-critical sectors through the automatic route, not requiring clearance from Ministry of Home Affairs. Even in strategic sectors like defense, government has allowed FDI of up to 74% through automatic route and 100% through government route. Consultation activities with representation of so actually ये दो चीजें समझ में आई. Then government is also doing consultation with representation of different sectors to further improve the system, and that is why what has happened, liberalization of FDI has happened in the country. Then initiatives like Make in India, Atmanirbhar Bharat, PM Gati Shakti, all these things are also contributing to increased FDI. कैसे? मेक इन इंडिया में वी आर प्रोमोटिंग मैन्युफैक्चरिंग इन इंडिया, तो इवन फॉरेन प्लेयर्स कैन कम एंड मैन्युफैक्चर इन इंडिया. ऐसे ही आत्मनिर्भर भारत में, आत्मनिर्भर भारत के अंदर ही PLI स्कीम है. PLI scheme, is it available for foreigners also? Yes. You increase your production, you will get incentives. It is available for domestic players as well as foreigners. PM Gati Shakti is focused on improving infrastructure. Improved infrastructure, does it attract more investment? Yes. Reforms in indirect and direct taxes. आपने देखा होगा corporate tax हमने कम किए थे. Will it promote more FDI in the country? Direct tax regime simplify किया है. Same tax throughout the country. Will it make it easy for businesses doing business in India? So increase public capex expenditure. क्या government का capital expenditure is increasing? Did we see that in capital expenditure section? Government budgeting में. ऐसे ही strengthening of India's footing in global supply chain, elimination of regulating barriers, improving ease of doing business, improved international relations. Now improved our international relation coordination with other countries are increasing. That may also contribute to more investment in the country. Why do we need FDI in India? FDI बढ़ रहा है, but why do we need it? One, domestic resources are not sufficient. That's why we have to depend on foreign investment. When FDI comes, it may also come with technology. जैसे when Apple decides कि it will manufacture its phone in India, so it will come with their technology also. So it is believed that FDI may lead to diffusion of new technology. जैसे when Maruti Suzuki they started manufacturing in India, Suzuki अपनी technology लेके आई. Hero, Honda, अब Hero and Honda are different companies, but initially they came together. So when they came together, Honda brought technology from Japan. Virtuous cycle of investment. FDI leads to virtuous cycle of investment. इसका क्या मतलब है? When there is more FDI in India, when there is more foreign investment in India, other foreign players also say India is an attractive destination. Why these many people from America are investing in India? Why these many people from Japan are investing in India? Why these many companies from these countries are investing in India? Because India is an attractive destination. India becomes a more attractive destination. इसे हम क्या बोल रहे हैं? Virtuous cycle of investment. जब foreign से बहुत investment होने लगता है, domestic investors are also like, why are we going to US and investing? वहां से लोग आके यहाँ invest कर रहे हैं, there is a lot of opportunity here. Then there are other advantages. Economic, क्या investment से economic growth होगा? We understand that investment leads to increase in capital formation, increase in growth, improved performance of government at state level. Now, how does it lead to improved performance of government at the state level? Because here states compete with each other for attracting investment. States try to improve their ease of doing business, state tries to improve their infrastructure, और लड़ते हैं आपस में. आप देखोगे महाराष्ट्र एंड गुजरात में टसल हो रहा होगा कि मेरा बिजनेस तुमने चुरा लिया, ये इन्वेस्टमेंट यहां होना था तुमने ले लिया. तो what they are doing, they are trying to improve their scenarios, their situations, then providing opportunity to government to focus more on social sector. If in business sector investment is happening from domestic or foreign players, what happens for government? Other areas which are not profitable, the government will be able to focus on those things more. But there are challenges also to FDI. जैसे अभी भी we have complex and rigid labor laws. We have delay in land acquisition is a problem. Red tapeism, corruption remains an issue. Regulatory frameworks further need simplification. Though FDI has been liberalized, but there are several restrictions which still occur, which sometimes become problematic for investors, and they like avoid India. India has a lot of red tapeism, and we also need regulatory certainty. Regulatory certainty means जो regulation है that will not change. There should be a pattern. If India is getting more and more liberalized, so India should keep getting more and more liberalized in terms of business. ऐसा नहीं हो कि कल गवर्नमेंट आए और बोले नहीं नहीं ये बहुत एफडीआई ओपन कर दिया गया, लेट मी क्लोज इट. No, we need regulatory certainty so that people can think of India as a long-term attractive destination. But there can be some problems also associated with FDI. जैसे FDI investment can be considered volatile. Now you may say कि सर वो तो FPI volatile था ना. Foreign portfolio investment, you can just quickly sell and go away. Yes, but FDI investment are also volatile when compared to domestic investment. मैंने इंडिया में फैक्ट्री चालू करी, अब मैं इंडिया का सिटीजन हूं, मेरे लिए यार कोई और अट्रैक्टिव डेस्टिनेशन में चले जाने का स्कोप कम है. बट यूएस वाले किसी बंदे ने यहाँ फैक्ट्री स्टार्ट करी एंड देख रहा है कि यार यहाँ पे तो लेबर इज नॉट दैट स्किल्ड, ये है वो है, और देयर आर बेटर अपॉर्चुनिटी अवेलेबल. किसी और कंट्री ने टैक्स रेट कम कर दिया, तो व्हाट वुड हैपन? I'll wind up my business from here and may go there. ऐसा हो सकता है. It will take 1 or 2 years, but ऐसा हो सकता है. And that is why FDI is a volatile investment. Not as volatile as FPI, but it is still volatile. Diffusion of technology हमने बोला ये एक advantage है, but it has been limited. We have hardly seen in recent years कि when these foreign players are coming, they are getting us the latest technology. It is getting diffused. अब Hyundai के पास इतनी सारी टेक्नोलॉजी है, Samsung के पास इतनी सारी टेक्नोलॉजी है, बट क्या वो डिफ्यूज हो रही है इंडियन कंपनीज में? नहीं हो पा रही है. दे आर मोस्टली कमिंग एंड डूइंग असेंबली वर्क हियर. देन जॉब क्रिएशन नॉट येट वेरी इफेक्टिव ड्यू टू एफडीआई. व्हाई? देखो जो हमने बोला एफडीआई से इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ होगी, बट प्रॉब्लम इज दे आर इन्वेस्टिंग मोर इन सर्विस सेक्टर, they're investing more in capital intensive sector, they're not investing in labor intensive sector, which will lead to creation of more jobs. Then regional inequities are perpetuated or regional inequality increase hoti hai. FDIs when they come to which states which are already well off. जैसे आप देखोगे महाराष्ट्र, कर्नाटका, गुजरात and Delhi in between October 2019 and March 2022 they took 83% of the FDI share. These are the well off parts. FDIs are not coming to Bihar, Jharkhand, Odisha, these states जो कि थोड़े backwards है, तो they further perpetuate inequality. Okay, so these are some challenges, some limitations of FDI. तो question most probably क्या आता है कि FDI क्या है? इनमें से क्या कौन सी situation FDI consider करी जा सकती है? Question most probably वो आता है. Which of the following can be considered FDI? recently एग्जाम में ऐसा एक क्वेश्चन आया था. तो वहां पे आप बता पाओ कि किन किन सिचुएशन में एफडीआई हो सकता है, किन किन सिचुएशन में नहीं हो सकता. नो यस हाँ अब हाँ इंडिविजुअल मिनिस्ट्रीज. यस यस वही ना, वो मैंने बोला कि पहले दिस बॉडी वाज देयर दैट हैज बीन डिसमेंटल्ड नाउ, एंड नाउ आप जिस मिनिस्ट्री में इन्वेस्ट करना चाहते हो, जिस मिनिस्ट्री के प्रोजेक्ट में, जिस मिनिस्ट्री के साइड में इन्वेस्ट करना चाहते हो, वहां पे आपको मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ साइंस. बट स्पेस में जो वो होता है ना, वो जनरली अभी पीएमओ कंट्रोल कर लेता है, वैसे हो जाता है. तो डिपेंड करता है. Not every time you have to go to a specific ministry. They have provided some other mechanisms also that exist, but in general what is the rule? You get approval from ministry. In critical areas you have to first get approval from Ministry of Home Affairs and then the ministry. वो situation भी है. तो it's not as simple as एग्रीकल्चर में इन्वेस्ट करना है तो चलो मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ एग्रीकल्चर, मतलब इट्स नॉट एज सिंपल एज दैट, बट यू हैव टू गो टू अ मिनिस्ट्री. ओके, लेट्स कम टू फॉरेन पोर्टफोलियो इन्वेस्टमेंट. लेट्स यहाँ पे फुली डाइल्यूटेड बेसिस को समझा रखा है, वो मैंने आपको पहले समझा दिया। फॉरेन पोर्टफोलियो इन्वेस्टमेंट क्या है? फॉरेन पोर्टफोलियो इन्वेस्टमेंट इज एनी इन्वेस्टमेंट मेड बाय अ पर्सन रेसिडेंट आउटसाइड इंडिया in capital instrument where such investment is less than 10% of the post issue paid up capital on a fully diluted basis of a listed Indian company. कहाँ इन्वेस्ट होगा ये? Listed Indian company and less than 10% of the stakes, not more than 10%. Less than 10% of the paid up value of each series of capital instrument of a listed Indian company. Note, FPI reflect capital gain but does not lead to lasting interest in the company. FPI leads to capital inflow तो हो रहा है, but it is not a leading to lasting interest because you can sell it quickly and go out. FPI includes investment in stocks, investment in bonds. ध्यान रखो, आप गवर्नमेंट बॉन्ड में, कॉर्पोरेट बॉन्ड में भी इन्वेस्ट कर सकते हो FPI के थ्रू. इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर सिक्योरिटीज, तो बॉन्ड्स में, सिक्योरिटीज में, स्टॉक्स में यू कैन इन्वेस्ट इन ऑल दोस थिंग्स. सिंस FPI is easily withdrawable, cashable, it is also known as hot money. FDI को हम बोल रहे हैं वोलेटाइल है, but FDI is not hot money. What is hot money? FPI, क्योंकि you can withdraw it very easily. It is less stable when compared to FDI. FDI is less stable when compared to domestic investments. FPI सबसे कम स्टेबल है, उससे ज्यादा स्टेबल FDI है, बट FDI से भी ज्यादा स्टेबल क्या है? डोमेस्टिक इन्वेस्टमेंट काइंड ऑफ. है ना? अब देखो, वी आर रनिंग एन इंस्टीट्यूशन इन दिल्ली ना. कल यहाँ पे सिचुएशन, ईज ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस थोड़ा खराब होगा, ऐसा नहीं होगा ना हम उठा के से दुबई ले जाएंगे. ऐसे बहुत सारे बिजनेसेस हैं, they will be doing what? They will be doing domestic investment remains domestic investment. So domestic investment have its own advantages. Now FPI can be divided into FIIs and QFIs. Foreign portfolio investments can be divided into FII or QFI. Now what is FII? देखो, what is foreign portfolio investment? When you are investing in stocks, आप आके रिलायंस के 1% स्टॉक ले रहे हो. अब पता है, ये पहले ना, we did not allow individuals to invest in India. We said only big institutional investors, foreign institutional. तो कोई फॉरेन की म्यूचुअल फंड कंपनी है, कोई फॉरेन की पेंशन फंड कंपनी है, कोई फॉरेन की इंश्योरेंस कंपनी है. They mobilize a lot of resources and they have a lot of money. We allowed them to invest. तो जब ये फॉरेन पोर्टफोलियो इन्वेस्टमेंट कौन कर रहा है? बड़े इंस्टीट्यूशंस कर रहे हैं. We call them foreign institutional investor. FPI, देखो, we said investment would happen कैसे? इन्वेस्टमेंट, फॉरेन इन्वेस्टमेंट की बात कर रहे हैं, एक तो FDI हो गया और एक FPI हो रहा है. FPI में what are you doing? You are investing in stocks, you're investing equities. Then FPI में this investment may come from an institution. This is known as foreign institutional investment. Initially हमने बड़े institutions को allow किया था because they have a lot of money and their investment is kind of stabler when compared to individuals. Individual तो छोटा सा पैसा लगाएगा, छोटा सा पैसा निकाल लेगा, वैसा करेगा, and therefore FIIs were allowed. So one type of FPI is when it is done by institutions having lots of money. So it involves foreign institutions, investors going for FPI. Only institutional investors like investment companies, investment funds, etc. are allowed to invest in Indian stock market directly. These investors have to go get a license from SEBI. Then came qualified foreign investment, QFI. अब government realized यार there are very rich individuals also, है ना? They should also be, they are also looking for stabler investment. They are not in institutions, they're not institutions, but they should also be allowed to invest. तो government ने क्या किया? The concept of QFI was introduced in 2000, which allowed individual foreign investor to invest in Indian stock market without a sub account with FII. पहले if these individuals wanted to invest, they had a sub account with FII, and indirectly they were investing through FII. तो हमारे लिए क्या आ रहा था? हमारे लिए पैसा FII से आ रहा था. But now, even without a sub account with FII, they will be able to invest, but not every individual, only qualified foreign investors. However, they have to open a demat account and trade account with the depository participation in India, CDSL. In जो depository participant है, depository participant कौन है? Depository, एक तो depository है और फिर दूसरा depository में participate करने वाला. Zerodha, Grow, ये सब depository participant थे ना. हम end customer with the help of depository participant dealt with depositories, so they'll have to have an account there. A QFI can be individual, group, or an association, and these conditions should be satisfied. QFI should be resident in a foreign country that is compliant with the standard of FATF, Financial Action Task Force, and QFI must be signatory to International Organization of Security Commission's multilateral memoranda of understanding. These two conditions should be satisfied by QFI to get registered and to directly invest in India. Now, please note these things. Prelims के लिए ये बहुत crucial होता है. One, investment in unlisted companies are treated as FDI. Any investment in unlisted, if it's going to unlisted company, it is FDI. And equity which is less than or equal to 10% of the capital in company is portfolio investment, while investment above 10% is foreign direct investment. Investment by FPI cannot exceed 10% of the paid up capital of the Indian company. अगर वो 10% से increase हो गया तो क्या हो गया वो FDI. All FPI taken together can't acquire more than 24% of the paid up capital of an Indian company. सारे individually FPI can only have what? Up to 10%. एक FPI should be investing less than 10%, else it becomes FDI. और now let's say बहुत सारे FPIs है. Together they should not own more than 24% of a company. Together they should not acquire more than 24% of the paid up capital of any Indian company. And investment by NRIs will not be considered FPI. NRIs are who? NRIs are Indian citizens. Though they are residents, they are foreign residents, but they are still citizens of India, and investment them by them is not FPI. That is considered अपना ही investment. That's not foreign portfolio investment. Okay. अब advantage क्या है FPI का? इन्वेस्टर के लिए उनके पास पोर्टफोलियो डाइवर्सिफिकेशन का एक मैकेनिज्म है. The investor was investing in US stock. He has an option of investing in Indian stock also. है ना? FPI mechanism से easy access to international credit. अब an investor who is investing in Indian stock, he finds it easy to get loan from Indian companies also. Similarly, more liquid and thus less risky. FPI investment is more liquid. आपको जब देखे कि यार कोविड आ रहा है, don't know what's going to happen, let's sell everything and get out. And thus it is more liquid and more liquid and less risky. किसके लिए? इन्वेस्टर के लिए जो पैसा लगा रहा है. बट डोमेस्टिक कंपनी के लिए more capital to country's capital market. Does more capital क्या FPI से भी कैपिटल आ रहा है? Diverse investment, large scale investment. FPI, especially FIIs, they have a lot of money. वो IPO में भी पार्टिसिपेट कर सकते हैं, कंपनी को डायरेक्टली पैसा दे रहे हैं, है ना? And company gets, other than domestic players, foreign players also, which also leads to large scale investment, and it also strengthens domestic currency. Do you understand? FPI से पैसा आ रहा है, FDI से पैसा आ रहा है means dollar is coming to India. Does it contribute to strengthening of domestic currency? Does it contribute to, यहाँ पे ये भी लिख सकते हैं balance of payment benefit, balance of payment में भी फायदा होता है. When FDI FII come, eventually balance of payment also gets benefited. Investors के लिए limitations क्या है? Lack of control over business. They don't have a lot of, though they may have voting rights, 5%, 10% जितना उनका शेयर है उतना, but they do not control. Whereas when you come for FDI में you have substantial say in the business. जैसे कोई आके अपनी फैक्ट्री यहाँ पे सेटअप कर रहा है, that will be what? FDI. Do they have say in the business? Yes. When they have more than 10% of the shares, do they have more say in the business? Yes. For domestic country क्या limitation है? Vulnerability of the economy. कैसे? कोई भी crisis होगा, they'll just run out with their money. This happened in 1990s, in late 1990s in East Asia. East Asia में financial crisis आया, अचानक से सारे FIIs, they sold everything. तो financial crisis was there, stress was there. What happened? It led to their economy थोड़ा सा suffering. Now they decided to withdraw all the money, economy drastically suffered. So it increased vulnerability. Sudden withdrawal also leads to beating up of the domestic currency, and chances of round tripping of funds is also there. Or what may happen is, this person has earned a lot of illegal money in India. He will through hawala take this money to Mauritius, and Mauritius में अपना एक institution बना के वहां से invest कर रहा है. तो round tripping of fund is also allowed or is also possible through the FPI mechanism. अब ये कुछ numbers है, देख लीजिए, but I would rather prefer जो latest number हमारे पास कौन से हैं, जो latest वाला budget आएगा ना, budget economic survey of India आएगा, we'll talk about those numbers more. अभी के लिए ये देख लीजिए. अब एक और चीज यहां पे समझनी है हमें, वो ये है increasing role of domestic institutional investors. अब in the past what used to happen, देखो हमारे स्टॉक मार्केट में FIIs always had a big say. FIIs का जब मन करता था पैसे विड्रॉ कर लो, इंडियन इकोनॉमी यूज्ड टू क्रैश. When they used to put in money, Indian economy or Indian stock market used to do very well. That has been generally the trend of the past. ऐसा ही होता रहा था. But in recent years, what has happened? हमारे domestic institutional investors have also become big. Asset under their management has become larger, and we have a lot of retail investors also, especially after COVID lockdown. Number of retail investors have increased. So now what happened was, when FIIs started withdrawing money, everyone expected कि economies will crash. India की economy बोल रहा हूँ, India का stock market will crash. But then we saw DIIs were continuing to push money. ऐसे ही domestic investors through SIP mechanism, through mutual fund mechanism were putting in a lot of money. It led to India's stock market not crashing as much. तो past में क्या होता था? Past में ये होता था, FIIs used to withdraw their money, Indian stock market used to crash, then at lower level they will invest, stock market बढ़ेगा, यहाँ पे बेच देंगे, फिर स्टॉक मार्केट क्रैश होगा, लोअर लेवल पे इन्वेस्ट करेंगे, फिर बढ़ेगा. तो डोमेस्टिक प्लेयर्स यूज्ड टू सफर अ लॉट. जब ये बढ़ रहा होता तो डोमेस्टिक प्लेयर आके इन्वेस्ट करते थे, बट देन वो गिर जाता था. गिर जाने के बाद वो घबरा के बेचते थे फॉरेन पोर्टफोलियो इन्वेस्टर्स, और फॉरेन इन्वेस्टर्स खरीद लेते थे. इस बार क्या हुआ? दे स्टार्टेड सेलिंग एंड DIS स्टार्टेड बाइंग, और रिटेल इन्वेस्टर्स स्टार्टेड बाइंग. When they started buying, because their influence has become larger, their share in investment has increased. तो हमारा स्टॉक इतना नहीं गिरा. And FPIs are in trouble. उन्होंने बेच तो दिया, but they want to re-enter. But stocks did not fall that much. Stocks did not fall that much. तो ये ना इकोनॉमिक सर्वे ऑफ इंडिया में भी डिस्कस हुआ था. क्या था? इन 2022 वो हुआ था ना, अपना वॉर वगैरह हुआ था. रशिया यूक्रेन war had started and economy was in trouble. So you will see, as per annual report of SEBI released in August 2023, FPIs pulled out 37,632 crore from Indian equities during FY23. FY23 is 2020-23. इसका पूरा डेटा हमारे पास August 2023 से FY24. तो FY23 में क्या हुआ? We had full data available. This is a decline in outflow of 73% as compared to FY. तो FY22 में भी decline हुआ, FY23 में भी what happened? FIIs pulled out data, pulled out FPIs from it. FPIs pulled out money from India. Why the recent outflow? Inflation worldwide. Inflation worldwide से क्या होता है? Monetary policy tightening. Monetary policy tightening means they will be withdrawing money. ये बात समझ में आई? Why were they pulling out money? Global uncertainty due to geopolitics in Europe, war, etc., and COVID-19 resurgence in China has also added to negative sentiments. 2022 में ऐसा हुआ था, चाइना में फिर से केसेस बढ़ने लग गए थे, everyone was worried. But stock market have not fallen much. This is because DIIs, domestic institutional investors, जैसे वहां के institutional investors जो है, बड़े investors हैं, यहाँ पे भी तो इंडिया में domestic institutional investors है, इंडिया में भी म्यूचुअल फंड कंपनीज है बड़ी, इंडिया में भी LIC है, it has a lot of money. तो इंडिया में भी institutional investors है. DIIs are compensating for FIIs outflow. They invested a total of 2.55 lakh crores during the fiscal year. DIIs now own a record 15% of the BSE 500 share, just 3.3% point below FPIs. अभी भी FPIs का ownership ज्यादा है when compared to DIIs, but DIIs का ownership has been increasing. In the top 500 shares of BSE, Bombay Stock Exchange पे thousands of shares are listed. Bombay Stock Exchange पे thousands of shares are listed. In the top 500 shares, domestic institutional investors own how much? 15%. अभी भी FIIs own 18%. But because domestic institutional investors का share is increasing, FIIs do not have the kind of power, the kind of role that they had, which has now FII just 3.3% below share of FPI. तो FPI का share कितना है? 18.3%, which has now declined to 9-year low. This highlights India's economic resilience and attractiveness to local investors. बात समझ में आई है? FIIs निकलते भी हैं, FII तो FDI, FPI, FPI में FII, UFI, UFI से अब individuals, वैसे individuals otherwise could have invested through FIIs, right? P note mechanism है, सब account mechanism है, but there is a QFI mechanism also. अब currency convertibility वैसे तो मैंने आपको समझा दिया, but फिर भी एक बार यहाँ पे देख लेते हैं. I think this is the last topic. कुछ ज्यादा बड़ा नहीं है. Break, हाँ. That this was sarcastic, हाँ. तो मैंने बोला ब्रेक, हाँ, पता लगे सब उठ के जाने लगे. What is currency convertibility? Let's understand this first. What is convertibility of a currency? फिर किसी का फोन बज रहा है. What is convertibility of a currency? Currency convertibility is the ease with which a country's currency can be converted into gold or any other currency. कितना easily वो कर सकते हो, right? A convertible currency, जैसे ये international जो currencies है, they are convertible. They can easily be traded on forex market with little or no restrictions. It's also seen as a reliable store of value. Reliable store of value, आप अपने forex reserve में उसे डाल के रख रहे हो, है ना? Because they are reliable store of value, meaning that investors will have no trouble buying or selling the currency because they are easily acceptable all over the world. A convertible currency is highly liquid instrument as compared with currencies that are tightly controlled by country's central bank. A convertible currency is also sometimes referred as a hard currency. A partially convertible currency, example Indian rupee, South Korean won, Chinese yuan, is the legal tender of a country that is traded in low volumes in global forex market. The government of these countries put capital control that limit the amount of currency that can exit or enter the. तो full capital account convertibility नहीं है इंडिया में भी. That's this. So currency convertibility is important in external sector. Why? When a country has poor currency convertibility, it means it is difficult to swap it for another country's currency, and it poses a risk and barrier to trade with foreign countries who have no need for the domestic currency. तो अब देखो, a foreign player does not need our domestic currency. The foreign player would want ये पूरा convert करके मुझे क्या दे दो, डॉलर दे दो या गोल्ड दे दो, है ना? But when we put restrictions on that, that hampers trade also, because foreign player is like मैं क्या, अब अपने यहाँ full capital account convertibility होता तो रशिया को हमने क्या दिया होता, यार तू रुपए ले ले, ऑयल दे दे हमें, उसने रुपए ले लिया. अब if we had full capital account convertibility, Russia could have easily converted rupee into gold, rupee into dollars, but we don't have full capital account convertibility, so Russia is not able to do that. It is hampering trade. रशिया इज सेइंग कि नहीं, मुझे पैसे कैसे दो, मुझे डॉलर्स में दो या मुझे दूसरे मैकेनिज्म से पैसे दो. रुपी इज नॉट समथिंग दैट्स एक्सेप्टेबल. तो करंट अकाउंट कन्वर्टिबिलिटी क्या है? इट अलाउज फ्री इनफ्लोज एंड आउटफ्लो फॉर ऑल पर्पसेस अदर देन दैट फॉर कैपिटल. कैपिटल पर्पस क्या होता है? इन्वेस्टमेंट, लोन्स एक्सेट्रा. तो इन अदर वर्ड्स, इट अलाउज रेजिडेंट टू मेक एंड रिसीव ट्रेड रिलेटेड पेमेंट्स, रिसीव डॉलर्स फॉर एक्सपोर्ट ऑफ द गुड्स एंड गिव डॉलर्स फॉर import and for other purpose, medical and so many things. Since 1994, full current account convertibility is allowed in India. That is, Indian rupee is fully convertible in current account. आप जितना भी import कर रहे हो, आप उसके लिए you will convert rupee into dollars. That's allowed. जितना export कर रहे हो, आपके पास dollars आएंगे, you will convert it into rupees. There is no restrictions on that. some minor restrictions on current account convertibility under FEMA may exist though. It is not allowed on betting, gambling, travel to Nepal, Bhutan only up to $10K you can take, travel to other countries only up to 25K you can take, education, medical treatment, employment में up to $1 lakh rupees can be taken, gift sending only of rupees 5 lakh. All these are current account transactions, but current account में भी, though we say कि we are fully convertible, but there are some restrictions here. बात समझ में आ रही है? अब करंट अकाउंट ट्रांजैक्शन में आप किसी को गिफ्ट दे रहे हो, वो भी करंट अकाउंट ट्रांजैक्शन है, बट ऑल दोस थिंग्स आर रिस्ट्रिक्टेड टू सम एक्सटेंट. तो ऐसे आप बोलोगे क्या फुल करंट अकाउंट कन्वर्टिबिलिटी इंडिया में है, बट विथ सम रिस्ट्रिक्शंस. अब एक ना एक्सट्रीम स्टेटमेंट आ जाता है, इंडिया डज नॉट हैव एनी रिस्ट्रिक्शंस ऑन करंट अकाउंट कन्वर्टिबिलिटी. तो अगर हमने बस ये पढ़ा है कि फुल करंट अकाउंट कन्वर्टिबिलिटी है तो वी में से कि ट्रू है, बट इन रियलिटी इट विल बी, क्योंकि यहाँ पे अब सीरियसली पूछा है उन्होंने, नो रेस्ट्रिक्शंस, देयर आर माइनर रेस्ट्रिक्शंस दैट एग्जिस्ट. नाउ what are the advantages of current account convertibility? It facilities to send foreign earning to Indian freely. It international trade can flourish. Imports and exports can be done at fair rates determined by the market. क्योंकि convertible है ना, तो अगर रुपी का डिमांड ज्यादा है तो रुपी विल अप्रिशिएट, डॉलर का डिमांड ज्यादा है डॉलर विल अप्रिशिएट, येन का डिमांड ज्यादा है येन विल अप्रिशिएट. तो फेयर मार्केट वैल्यू ऑफ करेंसी इज आल्सो डिटरमाइंड. नाउ व्हाट इज कैपिटल अकाउंट कन्वर्टिबिलिटी? Freedom to convert local financial asset into foreign financial asset and vice versa at market determined rate of exchange. And does India have capital account convertibility, full capital account convertibility? तो नहीं. India does not allow full capital account convertibility. That is, Indian rupee is not fully convertible on capital account. अब इसका मतलब ये समझो, suppose I have like 1 लाख करोड़ रुपए रुपी में. If I want to convert it into dollars, there are restrictions. Capital account डॉलर्स में कन्वर्ट करके मैं उसे यूएस में जाके सेटल होना चाह रहा हूं, उसमें restrictions है. If I want to import things, उसमें restrictions नहीं है. If I want to import things, उसमें restriction नहीं है. But if I want capital convertibility, उसमें restrictions है. Now, India does not allow full capital account convertibility. That is, Indian rupee is not fully convertible on the capital account. For example, external commercial borrowing has sector-wise limitation and RBI's approval is required. External commercial borrowing is what? Current account में, capital account में? Capital account में पैसे आ रहे हैं, but external commercial borrowing is not like unlimited amount of borrowing is allowed. तो is there capital account convertibility? Convertibility तो है. Otherwise, capital account में कुछ नहीं आता. But full capital account convertibility does not exist. There is restriction on ECB. There is restriction on FDI, FII also. देखो, there is no restriction on investment in Bhutan. In other countries, maximum 75K per year. Example, buying shares, opening foreign bank account, etc. This kind of restriction is there. Financial Action Task Force, non-cooperative countries, no investment is allowed in such countries. तो हमें FATF के बारे में पता है? FATF is an initiative जहां पे हम जो जिन कंट्रीज में टेररिज्म को सपोर्ट मिल रहा है उन सब पे उन कंट्रीज में कुछ रिस्ट्रिक्शंस लगाते हैं. तो इन दोस कंट्रीज इन्वेस्टमेंट एक्सेट्रा वुड नॉट बी अलाउड. ऐसे ही लिबरलाइज्ड रेमिटेंस स्कीम है. लिबरलाइज्ड रेमिटेंस स्कीम सेज दैट यू कैन आ रहा है नहीं आएगा. चला गया, चलो ब्रेक भी चला गया आपका. लिबरलाइज्ड रेमिटेंस स्कीम है. लिबरलाइज्ड रेमिटेंस स्कीम में जैसे इट इज सेड दैट more than 2.5 lakh crore, more than $2.5 lakh can be taken under this. 2.5 lakh can be taken per year per person abroad for education, for other things. You can carry how much money? Up to $2.5 lakh, not more than this. तो ये कुछ restrictions हैं. Now, whether capital account convertibility should be liberalized or not, that is whether we should allow full capital account convertibility or not. तो एक ना SS Tarapur committee था on Committee on Capital Account Convertibility, which was formed in 1997 to examine the viability of capital account convertibility, and it said bring capital account convertibility in phases. But उसके लिए उन्होंने प्री कंडीशन बोला था, we have to reduce our fiscal deficit, we have to control our inflation, interest rate by banks should be decontrolled, like let banks decide क्या interest rate होना चाहिए, वो अब more or less decide हो गया है, and enough forex to sustain 6-month import should be there. We already have 11 months का import वाला forex, and NPS of banks should be brought down to 5%. This is also something we have been able to do, and CRR should be brought down to 3%. This is something that we haven't done, but these were some conditions. Then second Tarapur committee बना on fuller capital account convertibility. Its approach was same again. It recommended capital account convertibility implementation in phased manner in 3 phases from 2006 to 2011. But still we do not have full capital account convertibility. Now, why do we need easy capital account convertibility? One, FDI needs of India. Kitna bhi, like we need investments. दूसरा, easy ECB can reduce the cost of borrowing for Indian businesses. अभी ECB पे restriction है, तो borrowing has to happen from domestic players जहाँ पे interest rates are higher. More investment can lead to increase in GDP. Development of more MNCs from India. MNCs from India will develop only when we have easier money coming in, capital money coming in, capital money going out, and portfolio diversification for Indian investors. Abhi Indian investors can invest outside. Capital investment they can make outside, but that is limited. There are restrictions. Then there are other arguments also. हमें internationalize करना है और ये सब करना है, तो हमें full capital account convertibility करना पड़ेगा. But there are arguments against making rupee fully convertible on capital account. जैसे balance of payment crisis of 1990s show that if you allow unlimited capital coming in, unlimited capital going out, you may be linked to international situation, and this may be problematic for economy in long run. Capital flows are sensitive to macroeconomic conditions. Any deterioration in fiscal condition, inflation management, balance, all these things can cause negative impact on investment, and in fact withdrawal of investment much faster. It may hamper interest of domestic economy as funds may easily flow outside the country, affecting employment. It may also make rupee unstable. So for these reasons we say that capital account convertibility, full capital account convertibility अभी नहीं किया जा सकता. But again, this is a subjective thing. आपसे पूछा क्या जाएगा, कैपिटल अकाउंट कन्वर्टिबिलिटी नहीं होने की वजह से क्या प्रॉब्लम्स हो रही हैं, दैट्स अ ऑब्जेक्टिव थिंग. या कैपिटल अकाउंट कन्वर्टिबिलिटी हो जाने पे क्या प्रॉब्लम हो सकती है, या व्हाट आर द एडवांटेजेस ऑफ कैपिटल अकाउंट कन्वर्टिबिलिटी, और व्हाट आर द डिसएडवांटेजेस ऑफ not having full capital account convertibility. Questions could be related to those things. Okay, ये questions कर ले या ब्रेक चाहिए? कर लेते हैं, ब्रेक के बाद करेंगे, कि ब्रेक के बाद जो बुकलेट मिल रहा है उसमें भी क्वेश्चंस ही 20-25 क्वेश्चंस है. तो विल हैव कितने क्वेश्चंस है यहाँ पे? 25 यहाँ है, 20-25 उसमें. हमने ना मनी सप्लाई के 20-25 क्वेश्चन ऑलरेडी किए हैं, इफ यू रिमेंबर. दैट वाज ऑन रेपो रेट, रिवर्स रेपो रेट, वो सारे क्वेश्चंस हमने किए. अब हम बैंकिंग सेक्टर के क्वेश्चन कर रहे हैं, जैसे कोऑपरेटिव बैंक पे जो सवाल आ रहा है या बैंक के मैनेजमेंट पे जो सवाल आ रहा है वो करना है, तो वो मैंने आपको अभी सेकंड वाले बुकलेट में दिया है. ठीक है, तो लेट्स टेक अ ब्रेक, बट स्ट्रिक्टली रिस्ट्रिक्ट करते हैं. मैं बोल तो रहा हूँ स्ट्रिक्टली रिस्ट्रिक्ट करते, मैं ही वायलेट करता हूँ. 10:50 हो रहा है, 11:20 पे मिलते हैं. ठीक है, आ जाओगे 11:20 पे सब लोग? 11:20 to 1:20 we'll have at least 50 questions to solve and 2-3 topics to cover. है ना, हमें ये करना है, तो let's meet at 1:20.
Hello friends, I hope you enjoyed the economy video. In this series, between 10th of March and 17th of March, we'll be releasing 2 videos every day and ensure that your entire syllabus of the basics of economy for preliminary examination is getting completed. Please share your feedback in the comment section and do share this video more and more so that more students would be able to reach it and we would also be able to reach more students. In the feedback section, in the comment section, we have seen some requests for science module, environment module as well. Now, it won't be possible for us to put the whole course on YouTube, but what we have done is, we have made the courses or individual modules available in only 1,000 rupees till 20th March. So, you can buy science module in 1,000 rupees, environment module in 1,000 rupees, modern India module, ancient culture module, geography module, polity module, even when international bodies and mapping ka module aayega, that also you'll be able to buy in 1,000 rupees if you use the coupon code LevelUp Holi. There is a Holi offer available till 20th of March. You can do that. Okay, so we have made it very, very affordable so that everyone would be able to do it. Everyone would be able to get it. So I hope you enjoy these videos a lot, learn a lot from it, and clear your preliminary examination. In the end, I also have one more announcement. Our GS Foundation course for 2026 have also started. So not for you people, the people who are watching this video are already preparing for 2025 exam, but your junior, your other friend who may be preparing for 2026. If you have good experience at LevelUp IAS, do recommend us. Do tell your friends about us, because for us, word of mouth is very important. I promise you here that at LevelUp IAS, we will provide the best GS Foundation program, the most comprehensive GS Foundation program in one of the most affordable cost for everyone. We will make sure that your juniors, your younger brothers and sisters who are studying with us at GS Foundation for the exam 2026 will be the best prepared people for 2026 preliminary and mains examination. So this is another request. Please do share, do subscribe to our channel, and please do recommend our GS Foundation program also to your juniors or your younger brothers and sisters. Thank you very much.